Hello everyone, welcome to the What If Anime YouTube channel. Today, we are diving into an exciting new story that will take your imagination to the next level. Let's get started. What if Naruto finds a Zanpakutō in the forest of death? Aizen sat in his throne watching a projection of another world. What he was witnessing intrigued him. A large mob of people was currently chasing a small blonde-headed child, no older than 6 years old. The people kept calling him a demon. In addition to the immense amount of spiritual pressure emanating from the boy, Aizen sensed something even stronger sealed away, most likely the source of the mob's catcalls. Aizen immediately called for Jin and Tosen. "What is it, Aizen-sama?" Jin asked, grinning his fox-like grin as usual. "This boy here, Naruto Uzumaki, is very powerful. I want you to bring him here so that he can be trained by the Espada," Aizen said as he looked back at the image and saw that the boy had tripped and was about to be beaten by the mob. "As you wish, Aizen-sama," Tosen said as he and Jin turned and left. Aizen now had a wide smile on his face. Somewhere in Konohagakure, Naruto was on the ground trying to back away from the mob. The people in the mob were wielding only knives and lights, but unfortunately for Naruto, that was all the mob needed. "Now we will vanquish this demon from our land," the leader of the mob said as the rest of the mob cheered in approval. "I'm not a demon. Why are you doing this?" Naruto asked as the mob closed in on him. "Now we get out revenge," the leader said as he brought his knife down on the boy. Naruto closed his eyes as he prepared to meet his end. Fortunately for him, in the shinobi world, it never came. "Shoot to kill, Shinso," an unfamiliar voice said. Naruto opened his eyes and saw that a very long sword had pierced the leader. He turned to see its wielder. It was a man with white hair, squinty eyes, and a wide smile. He was wielding the blade that had saved Naruto's life. It had been extended to a ridiculous length, allowing the sword to reach the mob leader. The white-haired man stood next to a black man with purple hair and some sort of visor on his eyes. Naruto could still see that the man's eyes had no pupils, however, giving the impression that he was blind. "Wow, what the?" Naruto stuttered as the two men walked closer to him. My, that was a close one," the white-haired man said. "Who are you and why did you save the demon?" one of the people in the mob asked as the white-haired man looked at him in confusion. "Huh, demon? If you mean this kid here, then your eyes are even worse than Tosen's and he's actually blind," said the white-haired man as the black man, Tosen, just looked at him with a scowl. "If you're here to help the demon, then you'll die with him," another member of the mob said as they charged at Naruto and the two strangers. The white-haired man quickly grabbed Naruto and leapt back while Tosen jumped into the air. "Suzamushi Nishiki, Benihiko," Tosen said as he made a circle around him from the top to bottom with his sword. When he had finished his motion, multiple blades came out of nowhere and rained down on the mob. The entire mob was slaughtered in an instant. Naruto was amazed by such a technique and wished to learn more. "What do you want with me?" Naruto asked as the white-haired man gently put him down. "Let's start with introductions first. I am Jin, and this Tosen. We came from a place called Hueco Mundo and we're here to take you back with us to be trained," Jin replied as Naruto just looked at him, shocked at the news. "Train me? Why?" Naruto asked, wondering why anyone would want to train him. "Because our master, Aizen, believes that you are strong, and now that we're closer, I can sense that you do indeed have much strength," Tosen said. He had sensed Naruto's strength the moment he laid eyes on him, so to speak. "Will I be leaving forever?" Naruto asked. While he may have disliked the villagers, Naruto still had friends in the village. "It all depends on what Aizen-sama has planned. Will you come with us, please?" Jin asked while extending his hand, which Naruto took. Before they could depart, however, they were stopped by the arrival of the third Hokage and a few Anbu Black Ops members. "Hold it right there. Where are you taking Naruto?" the Hokage asked as his Anbu prepared to attack the two strangers. "We are taking Naruto to a place to be trained so he can stand up to the nut jobs, like these fools, in your village. And before you think that we're kidnapping him, you should know that he chose to come with us on his own accord," Jin said as the Hokage looked at him in shock. "What? Naruto, is this true?" the Hokage asked, to which Naruto just nodded. "Don't worry, Naruto will return. Just not for a while," Jin said with a smile. "Very well, if Naruto is going out of his free will, then I'll allow it. Just promise me, however, that he will return," Sarutobi said. He ordered the Anbu to stand down when Jin and Tosen nodded in reply. The two Shinigami then turned around and opened a garganta and walked through it, with Naruto in tow, before the portal slammed shut. Be safe, Naruto, Sarutobi thought to himself as he and his Anbu disappeared. Aizen's throne room, Las Noches, Hueco Mundo. Naruto looked in awe at the massive castle fortress he was now inside. Jin and Tosen led him into a huge room, the throne room from what Naruto could tell, where a man was seated on a throne on the opposite side of the room. The man had a white outfit on and had brown slicked back hair. Welcome, Naruto. I am Sosuke Aizen, the one who sent Jin and Tosen to retrieve you, Aizen said as Jin and Tosen brought Naruto closer to Aizen, who decided to get up and walk to meet his newest acquisition. Naruto bowed respectfully to the man. Are you going to be the one training me? Naruto asked as Aizen smiled gently at him. No, I will have you trained by the Espada, 10 warriors who are my strongest force, Aizen said. Naruto was surprised to hear that he was going to have 10 different teachers. Naruto was startled by the opening of another huge door from which 10 figures stepped out. The first guy was big and muscular with a tan and a ponytail. The only guy wearing a helmet made bubbling noise and had a popped collar. There was man with pink hair had glasses on who had a thin body. The only black member was bald, had some spikes on his head. The guy next to him had a jaw on the right side of his face as well as blue hair. There was another guy whose outfit made him look like a giant spoon and who wielded a huge misshapen side. The palest member had green eyes, black hair, and teal-colored marks that looked like tears. The only woman in the group had blonde hair, blue eyes, and had her face covered. There was an old man who had one eye closed and was wearing some sort of crown. The final member had a lazy look in his eyes and brown hair. The guys must be the Espada. Is that them? Naruto asked as he looked back at Aizen. Yes, but training can wait until tomorrow. Why don't you go with Jin to your room? Aizen said. Naruto nodded in reply and began walking with Jin before he suddenly stopped. Hey, I have a quick question. Will I be able to go home when my training is done? Naruto asked while Aizen still smiled at him. Yes, you are free to go when your training in Las Noches is done, Aizen said as Naruto smiled and left to rest. Are you really going to let him leave? Tosen asked as Aizen turned to look at him. Yes, after we've taken the Soul Society and the real world, we will take over his world, with him as the main weapon, Aizen said to his subordinate as he sprouted a wide smile. If only he knew what happened in the future. 7 years later, Naruto sat atop a tower in Hueco Mundo staring out at the massive desert. He had on a white jacket and black shirt underneath, along with black pants and sandals. He had his Zanpakutō, which was a blade with black hilt with red wrappings around it and a red, round, spiral pattern tsuba. A-N. The tsube looks like the Uzumaki clan symbol. Naruto had gotten strong enough to beat all 10 Espada in both their regular forms and their released forms. Since he trained with the Arankars, he had obtained a release for his Zanpakutō as well. On top of that, he also got 2 fracciones named Django and Tiraran. Now, with his training complete, Naruto set his sights on a new objective. Ready or not, Konoha, here come Naruto Uzumaki, said Naruto as he left to have a final talk with Aizen. Naruto used a flash step to get to Aizen's stronghold. Naruto had gotten the abilities of a Shinigami, but didn't have a Shikai or Bankai. Thanks to Aizen, the Kyuubi had been resealed inside Naruto's blade, hence him having a release. This made his Zanpakutō more Arankar-like in how it was used. Since the tailed beast was still connected to his soul, Naruto still had the healing abilities that the Kyuubi provided. Naruto's training also resulted in him gaining several hollow abilities, though without the need for an inner hollow to use them. Naruto entered the center of Las Noches and decided to head to his room one last time. When he got there, he saw some new clothes on his bed. A note was attached to it. Dear Naruto, I thought you might like some new clothes considering you're leaving soon. This should be appropriate for you big return. Enjoy. Signed, Aizen. Naruto smiled at the note and put on the clothes. There was a shirt similar to Grimmjow's, but it had short sleeves instead of the long sleeves that the 6th Espada rolled up. The pants were white and baggy with black trim. His sandals were Espada edition sandals, and he had white forearm gauntlets on his arms that had skulls in the middle. The outfit also included a pair of spalders with a similar design. Naruto took a look at himself in the mirror after trying out his new outfit before going to Aizen's throne room. Naruto walked inside but found that Aizen was not at his throne. Rather than going out and looking for him, Naruto decided to wait for him. He was in no hurry to get back, and wanted to at least talk one last time with the Espada. Speaking of the Espada, Grimmjow had just walked into the throne room. "How are you, Grimmjow-sama?" Naruto asked as his teacher looked at him and gave his usual grin. "Bored as hell. What are you doing?" Grimmjow asked. He sat next to Naruto. "Just waiting for Aizen-sama. I need to discuss my departure with him," Naruto said as Grimmjow looked at him with a surprised expression. "Is it time already?" Grimmjow asked, to which Naruto nodded in reply. "Yay, it's been a while since I began my training. If my math is correct, it should be 7 years past in my world." "I can't wait," Naruto said as he sported his trademark grin. "I like that look in your eye," Grimmjow said as he smiled. Naruto gave a small chuckle. "I'm just pumped is all. There are some people I've been dying to see," Naruto said before Grimmjow flashed a sleazy look. "Oh, you mean like a girl?" Grimmjow asked in a mocking tone. Naruto, not surprisingly, got steamed at him. "Shut up, Grimmjow-sama," Naruto yelled as Grimmjow laughed at him. "I thought I heard some sort of commotion," another person said. Naruto immediately recognized that voice thanks to its lazy tone. "So you actually decided to wake up, Stark-sama," Naruto said, as Stark just looked at him with his laziness still present in his eyes. "I had no choice since Lilynet kept waking me up while you two started making noise over here," Stark said as he cleaned his ears. "Well, that's a great way to say farewell, Stark," Grimmjow said. Stark was confused by Grimmjow's comment, but he finally understood after a minute or so. "So today's the day, huh?" Stark said in a dull tone. "Yep, time for me to head home and cause a little trouble. Though I still have to consult Aizen-sama, so I am waiting for him to return," Naruto said. Stark nodded in reply before he sat next to Naruto. "Then wait no longer," a familiar voice said. Naruto, Grimmjow, and Stark turned around to see that Aizen had appeared to see Naruto off. Along with Aizen remaining Espada, their Fracciones, and Naruto's own 2 Fracciones came to see him off. "Oh, so you were gathering the rest of the guys to see me off?" Naruto said while smiling at Aizen and the Arrancar. "Yes, I thought that everyone that worked with you should be here to wish you luck. Though I'm sure that the people that fight you should pray for luck if they want to survive," Aizen said, showing his usual smile. "Got that right. Well then, I guess this is goodbye," Naruto said as he extended his hand to Aizen, who took it. "For now at least," Aizen said as he shook Naruto's hand. "Good luck, Gaki," Noitra said while grinning at Naruto. "Are we coming with you, Naruto-sama?" Tiriren asked while giving a hopeful yet sad look at him. Tiriren was an Arrancar with long green hair who looked like a teenage girl. Her outfit was just a top with a skirt and some leggings. She had a piece of a mask in the form of a headband. Django, Naruto's other Fraccione, was a bit taller than Naruto. He had brown medium hair and a hollow mask in the form of a human skull over his entire face. He had an Espada outfit with long sleeves and his shirt was open. Both of them had regular katanas, but Tiriren's had a pink hilt and a black-colored blade, while Django's had a black hilt and a sickly pale-colored blade. Tiriren and Django were the 28th and 29th numeros class Arrancars, respectively. Though they were both at the same level of strength as Ulquiorra when he used his segunda etapa without releasing their Zanpakutōs, they had chosen not to become Espada out of their loyalty to Naruto. "No, you should remain here in Hueco Mundo. I will, however, call when I need your assistance," Naruto said as the 2 Arrancar bowed. "If that's what you wish, Naruto-sama," Django said, giving a weak smile. Naruto opened up a garganta and stepped through it. He took one last glance back at his teachers before it closed completely. "Take care of yourselves, and thanks for everything," Naruto thought to himself as the Espada disappeared from sight. Main gate, Konohagakure. Izumo and Katetsu were at the entrance to Konoha, bored as usual. They had been there the whole morning, taking check of everyone that had passed into and out of Konoha. Though they hoped it was nothing bad, Izumo and Katetsu wished that something interesting would happen. They got their wish when a black portal opened up in the sky above them. "What in the name of Kami is that?" Izumo asked as he and Katetsu just looked at the portal with a little scared look. "I'm not sure, but it doesn't look friendly," Katetsu said. Katetsu was about to go get back up before was stopped by Izumo grabbing his arm. "Wait, there's someone inside," Izumo said while pointing at a figure that appeared within the portal. "No way, that's..." Katetsu said as he stared at the person inside the portal. The person he saw inside of the portal was none other than Naruto, who then stepped out of the portal and floated gently to the ground. Naruto walked to the gate and nodded to the two guards as they stared wide-eyed at him. "Yo," said Naruto casually as he walked into the village towards the Hokage Tower. Izumo and Katetsu just stared with open mouths and then looked back at each other. Hokage's office, the academy. A few minutes later, the third Hokage, Hiruzen Sarutobi, was dealing with the one threat that no cage had been able to get rid of, paperwork. The stack in front of him was huge in height as the old man tried to make it smaller with every sheet signed. The sad part was that the stack was going to be at the same level tomorrow, if it didn't go higher. As he was going through some more documents, someone knocked the door. "Come in," the third said as he took down another sheet to be signed. "Long time no see, old man," in voice said. This voice made the Hokage look up with wide eyes. Standing in the doorway was Naruto, smiling at one of the few people that treated him with kindness. The Sandaime had tried to have Naruto be seen as a hero, as per the Yondaime's instructions, but it fell on mostly deaf ears. The few people who did listen tried to at least adopt the poor kid, but the civilian council, in their arrogance and complete hatred of the boy, shot them all down. When the Hokage told the councils that Jin and Tosen had taken Naruto, the civilian council was happy to be rid of the so-called demon child. The shinobi council, however, was not so cheerful. When the Sandaime assured them, in secret, that Naruto would return one day, they got a little bit happy. Unlike the civilian council, the members of the shinobi council did not hold any real hatred towards Naruto as they knew the Kyuubi's attack on Konoha was not Naruto's fault. Now, after 7 years, Naruto has returned. Hiruzen sensing the definite change that had occurred. "Welcome home, Naruto," Sandaime said as he gave the blonde a big hug. "Thanks, old man, though I doubt I'll get the same warm welcome from most people." "Have you been still dealing with paperwork?" Naruto said. The third frowned in response to that comment as he was well aware that the child was mocking him and his torment. "Unfortunately, yes, I am unable to escape this torture until I find a successor," the Sandaime said, going back to his desk and motioning Naruto to sit. Naruto, however, waved it off. "I'm not here to talk long, I just wanted to say hi and get back to the academy. Though they can't really teach me anything there, I still need to graduate to be a ninja," Naruto said, to which the Sandaime nodded. The Sandaime then held up a finger. "Hold on a sec, I almost forgot. This will let you go through the graduation process without having going through all the teachings over again so you can graduate with your class," he said before he took out a piece of paper and wrote down a note that he then gave to Naruto. "Thanks, old man," Naruto said before taking the note and waving goodbye to the man who was like a grandfather to him before leaving. Academy classroom, a few moments later. "Don't forget that the graduation exam is tomorrow. So everyone study hard and sharpen your skills tonight," Iruka announced to the class. Everyone was excited about finally graduating, having worked hard, for the most part, to become ninja. Some of the students had decided to become ninja to gain power. Some were there to achieve glory, and some were just there only because their parents forced them to go. Cough Shikamaru cough. The opening of the door stopped the chattering amongst the students. The figure that stepped in made the guys look shocked, the girls with blushes on their faces and few with nosebleeds. As Naruto walked in, he gave a mock salute to Iruka and gave him the note from the Hokage. Iruka nodded at Naruto in understanding and motioned for him to take a seat. A certain Uchiha was looking at Naruto with a frown. The fact that this new guy walked in here like he owned the place felt like an attack on the Uchiha's pride. Class, our new student, or returning student to be more precise, is Naruto Uzumaki. He will be participating in the graduation exam with the rest of you, Iruka said. Some of the students were shocked by this revelation while others, including a certain pink-haired girl, were very upset. "Iruka-sensei, that's not fair. Why does that blonde baka get to take the exam when he hasn't even been here for so long?" Sakura screeched. Because she had done this in Naruto's ear, he had to clean them to make sure that the pink banshee didn't cause him to lose his ability to hear. Because Naruto has been training for the past 7 years in another place. His training makes him more than qualified to take the exam. Haruka said as Sakura gave one last angry look at Naruto before she went back to her seat. Naruto-kun, I knew it was you, Hinata thought as she blushed at seeing Naruto in such a hot outfit. Naruto sensed her looking at him and turned around and looked at her. Hinata immediately tuned her head with an eep sound. Naruto turned back around and gave a smile. As the bell rung dismissed, the students proceeded to return home. Naruto walked away from the classroom, but stopped when he felt someone's killer intent directed at him. Naruto turned around to see Sasuke Uchiha, who was giving him an ugly look. "What do you want, Uchiha?" Naruto asked him. He was not in the mood for a fight with the Uchiha punk, as that would have been a waste of his time. "I just want you to remember your place. I'm the top student in my class, so don't you think that I'll let you pass this exam, you dead last," Sasuke said. The Uchiha was smirking until Naruto yawned in reply. Naruto had fought against beings with more power than anyone in this world could shake a stick at. The Uchiha standing before him was, to Naruto, little more than a cockroach by comparison and, as a result, not even worth taking seriously. "You finished gloating yet? I have gotta go to my apartment to make sure I've got food to eat," Naruto said as he turned around. "Don't you turn your back on me," the Uchiha yelled as he threw a punch. Sasuke stopped his attack when Naruto disappeared. Sasuke looked around for Naruto but couldn't find him until he reappeared behind the Sasuke, his sword pressed against the Uchiha's neck. "I'm not gonna fight you today, Sasuke. I'll save that for tomorrow. Just be ready to be beaten by a dead last in the meantime," Naruto said as he once again disappeared, leaving the Uchiha enraged at this humiliation. Naruto was quite surprised to find his apartment completely untouched. He thought for sure that some of the crazy villagers would have come here to ransack the room and then burn it down, yet here it was, nothing out of place except for a little dust. He went through the fridge and found that everything had expired years ago from both on the labels and the smell of, for lack of a better comparison, death. While he could have gone to buy groceries, he decided on a different solution for the time being. He left his apartment and headed to the one restaurant he had missed since he left Konoha, Ichiraku Ramen. He walked into the stand and sat down at his usual spot. Memories of all the times he had come here to enjoy a good bowl of ramen flooded his mind as he anticipated tasting the finest ramen in all of the shinobi world. "Hello and welcome to Ichira Naruto, you're back. Dad, come here and see this," Iyame said as she went outside and hugged Naruto. Her father came out from the kitchen at the mention of Naruto's name. "Well, it's good to see you again, Naruto. I'll be honest, I thought I wasn't going to see you again," Tsuchi said, as Ayame pulled away from Naruto and went back inside. "You know I can't be parted from your ramen forever," Naruto said, flashing his trademark smile at them as he ordered pork ramen. When Naruto got out the chopsticks and slurped up the first bit of ramen, he let out a sigh of happiness. It was still as good as it was when he had left Konoha. It tasted a lot better when one remembers he's been deprived of this ramen for so long. In Hueco Mundo, Naruto had to eat whatever he could find, not an easy thing considering the lack of anything alive there. As for something to drink, tea was provided by Aizen most of the time. After a large amount of ramen consumption, Naruto decided to head back to the apartment and rest up for tomorrow. As he lay in bed, Naruto thought of the best way to unveil his new abilities tomorrow at the academy. The thoughts of all the shocked faces brought a smile to his face. "Tomorrow everyone will learn that I'm the top guy now," Naruto thought to himself before he fell now asleep. The next day, Naruto woke up and put back on his outfit before he walked out the door. As he made his way to the academy, he noticed that he was still getting ugly looks from some of the villagers. The looks didn't improve when he got to the academy. Some of the parents saw Naruto only as a monster that the Yondaime merely weakened for the people of the village to finish off. The only Naruto thought that he had regarding this was how sweet it would feel when the stares would change, eventually. Not everyone stared at him with hatred in their eyes, as there were some friendly faces in the mix. Those faces were the families of Shikamaru, Choji, and Kiba, whom Naruto had spent a lot of time with before he left for Las Noches. A few minutes before the tests began, Naruto made his way into the classroom and took his seat. He looked to his left and saw Sasuke, who was still seething after what happened yesterday. "I'm going to embarrass you in front of the entire academy, you loser," Sasuke thought to himself as he ignored the usual screeching from his fangirls. Sakura, one of these fangirls, decided to get on Sasuke's good side by pushing Naruto around. You might as well quit, Baka. Sasuke is the best and you can compete with him. For all we know, your training didn't help you at all. So why don't you just leave before you end up embarrassing yourself? Sakura said as she hit Naruto in the back of the head. Bad idea. Naruto's face was planted to his desk as a result. Even though Naruto did hit the desk pretty hard, it didn't break since Sakura didn't have that kind of strength yet. Naruto looked up from his desk, straightened his back, took a deep breath, and stood up. A few moments later, Iruka was very excited to see how his students fared in the tests. He had trained them well and silently wished the best of luck to them. He was even more excited, though, to see how powerful Naruto had become. Iruka had tried to look out for Naruto when he was still here and treated him like a brother. Iruka opened the door and stood in front of the class. Good morning, class. I just wanted to say I'm proud of all of you for making it this far, and I think Okami. Sakura, what happened to your face? Iruka yelled as he looked over at a bruised Sakura. After Sakura had smacked Naruto, Naruto simply smirked and punched her in her face, causing her to hit the floor hard, using 1.5% of his strength. After Sakura didn't move for a while, Naruto picked her up and sat her in her desk before he proceeded to gently shake her until she regained consciousness. When Sakura came to, however, the pain of Naruto's attack hit her so fast that she would have screamed in pain if Naruto hadn't covered her mouth with his hand. After he whispered something in her ear, he removed his hand. Sakura decided to stay quiet until Iruka came in. Sakura now looked at Naruto, who looked back at her, allowing Iruka to make the connection. He decided not to say anything about it, however, as he figured Sakura probably said or did something that was stupid enough to force Naruto to respond like this. Naruto punched her in the face and she fell on the floor. A random student from the class said to the Chunin. Is that so? We'll about this after talk after the exams, Naruto, Iruka said as Naruto gave a nod in understanding. Naruto and his fellow classmates took a series of different tests to test their skills, ranging from jutsus to use of weapons. Though the jutsu that the students usually demonstrated was the clone jutsu, Naruto was allowed to demonstrate an alternative technique due to the unique circumstances surrounding his training. The final test was the combat skills portion. The students would spar with each other to show their fighting skills. In the first match, Choji fought Kiba, if you can call sitting on Kiba for the entire match fighting. The next match was between Sakura and Shikamaru, but the match was called a draw after a while due to Sakura's face being sore as well Shikamaru's laziness. In the next match, Hinata defeated Ino with her clan's gentle fist attacks. After the match ended, Hinata looked over at Naruto to see if he watched her. Naruto looked back at her and gave her a smile and nod, causing Hinata to blush on the outside and to jump up and down in her mind. After a few other fights, Sasuke and Naruto's little spar, if you wanted to call it that, was next. Almost all of the girls were, not surprisingly, cheering for Sasuke, with Hinata the only exception. Naruto walked out into the little grass area where the spar would take place. Before the match began, Naruto unsheathed his Zanpakutō and stuck it in the ground, which, to those who knew him in Las Noches, meant that he would fight the opponent in question but still saw him as a waste of his time. I'm gonna crush you, loser, and prove that you are what we all know you as, a dead last, Sasuke said as got screams of approval from the fangirls and a raised eyebrow from Naruto. Is that so? Well then, why don't I make your victory a little bit easier? How great Uchiha, Naruto mockingly said, to which Sasuke responded by looking at him with a frown. And how do plan to you do that? Sasuke asked as Naruto held up one arm and put it behind his back. Rocker 1600 note. Moderate editing from the original begins. I will give you an advantage. One hand. No, one finger is all I will use for this spar. Sound good to you? Naruto said, smirking, while the Uchiha just frowned. Naruto closed his free hand into a fist, save for his index finger. Do what you want, you'll still lose no matter what, Sasuke said as readied himself for a fight. Ready? Begin, Iruka said. Sasuke made the first move when he chargraphed at Naruto. Sasuke threw a right hook but was dodged by Naruto, who sidestepped the punch. Sasuke then tried a body kick, which Naruto easily evaded. Sasuke kept using attack after attack, but nothing connected. Then, Sasuke nailed Naruto in the chin with an uppercut. Everyone held their breath, thinking the Uchiha had finally won the fight. Chuckling broke the silence, which then turned into all-out laughter. It was coming from Naruto, which enraged Sasuke. Are you serious? That's it? I gotta say, I knew you were weak, but this is pathetic, Naruto said as he looked at the Uchiha. Why you? Sasuke said before Naruto placed his finger on Sasuke's chest. Before Sasuke could react, Naruto used his finger to push Sasuke back. Naruto had applied enough force to send Sasuke flying back to the academy building. When Sasuke landed on the wall of the building, the amount of force Naruto had used caused Sasuke to go right through the wall, leaving a noticeable hole. The fangirls immediately crowded an unconscious Uchiha while Naruto picked up his sword, sheathed it and walked away with a wide smile. As he was about to go back inside to receive his headband, Iruka stopped him. Naruto, I'm sure Sakura did something or said something stupid, but please have better control over your attacks from now on. That goes for this little display as well, Iruka said as he got a nod from Naruto. Don't worry, that was just so she knew not to hit me again. As for Sasuke, I actually held back a lot, Naruto said with a grin as he walked back to the academy. Despite the angry looks from some of the villagers, Naruto was more than satisfied with becoming a full-fledged shinobi of Konoha. Naruto was on his way home when he saw Hinata walking home with her father Hiashi. Hey Hinata, congratulations on becoming a shinobi, Naruto said. He chuckled in the back of the mind as he saw Hinata blush. Thank you, Naruto-kun, Hinata said while her father, Hiashi, just smiled at the two. Congratulations to you too. I hope that you and my daughter will do great things for Konoha, said Hiashi, as Naruto nodded at him. We will. I've gotta go now, so I'll see you around, Hinata, said Naruto, walking away as Hinata waved goodbye. Hiashi simply looked at the young Naruto. I don't know what you did for her, but I thank you for it. Though she still has a long way to go, you helped her gain some confidence in herself, Hiashi thought to himself before he and Hinata continued to walk home. Rocker 1600 note. Moderate editing form. The original ends. Naruto made his way back to his apartment and found a note pinned to the door when he arrived. Naruto, I want to congratulate you on becoming a shinobi. I have something I wanted to talk to you about. Think of it as a reward for becoming a shinobi. Meet me at the Hokage Tower after reading this note. Signed, the third Hokage. Naruto then used a flash step to get to the Hokage Tower. Sarutobi was waiting for him at the top of the tower, smoking his usual pipe. He nearly dropped his pipe in shock when Naruto appeared, seemingly out of nowhere. You got here fast. How'd you do that? Sarutobi asked, surprised by how fast the boy could move. It's a technique called a flash step. It's one of the things I learned at Las Noches. Anyways, what did you want to talk to me about? Naruto asked as he folded his arms. Naruto, have you ever wondered about who your parents might be? Asked Sarutobi, getting a raised eyebrow from Naruto. Sometimes. I always thought that my parents died during the Kyuubi's attack. After I earned the Kyuubi's trust, I tried asking him about my parents to see if he knew, but he's been very reluctant to tell me, Naruto said while taking note of the fact that Sarutobi's eyes widened in shock. How did you find out about the Kyuubi? Sarutobi asked as he had made it clear that it was forbidden to mention the Kyuubi's presence within Naruto to the boy. Aizen, the man who helped train me, told me, Naruto calmly, to which Hiruzen did a facepalm. He had forgotten that he had not mentioned this rule to the two men who had taken Naruto with them 7 years ago. I see. Well, your parents did die during the Kyuubi attack, but your father is the one who sealed the Kyuubi in you, to protect the village, Sarutobi said as he saw that Naruto was looking at him as if he had two heads. That's impossible. That would mean that my dad is, Naruto said before Sarutobi finished the sentence for him. The Yondaime Hokage, Minato Namikaze, Sarutobi said. Naruto's face was suddenly with feelings of shock, then happiness, and then anger, which Sarutobi had expected to an extent. My own father sealed the Kyuubi inside me, Naruto said as he clenched his fists. I thought you might react that way, but you had to understand that he had faith that you would one day be able to control it, which you have. And I can promise you that your father truly did care about and would not have done it if he didn't have a good reason to, Sarutobi said. He placed his hand on Naruto's shoulder. This revelation helped Naruto calm down. That makes sense, and I guess being the son of the Yondaime makes up for it, Naruto said. Sarutobi smiled at seeing how much Naruto had matured since he left. I have something I want to show you. Follow me, Sarutobi said before leading Naruto out of the Hokage Tower. He led him to the Namikaze estate, which was located about a half a mile outside of Konoha. The place was, needless to say, enormous, as it was twice as big as the Hyuga estate. Naruto saw that the place was surrounded by a barrier, with a blood seal on the front door keeping it intact. "Go ahead, release the seal," Sarutobi said, to which Naruto looked at him with a raised eyebrow. Naruto placed his hand on the seal, which quickly deactivated the barrier. Naruto was a little bit shocked that it worked. "So is this place mine now?" Naruto asked, to which Sarutobi nodded. "Yes, but let's not move in yet. It's best for us to make sure that everyone knows you're the son of the fourth before getting comfortable in your birthright," Sarutobi explained. Naruto nodded in agreement. "That sounds fair to me. Thanks for showing me this, old man," Naruto said as he hugged the old cage. "I knew you were strong enough to know the truth now," Sarutobi said as he broke off the hug and walked back to the tower. "I hope you're watching me, Dad, because your son is about to become the greatest shinobi of all time." Naruto as he looked one last time at the estate before reactivating the barrier. Naruto was a bit anxious today. Why? Because today was the day where he would get put into a genin team. He just hoped he didn't get put into a group of morons, primarily Sasuke and Sakura, if at all possible. He especially hoped he didn't get the both of them. Oh Kami, he prayed that he didn't have those two. He hoped he would get put with a team of people like Hinata and Shino. Those two had some sense in their heads. He would take Shikamaru at this point, though he found his a bit annoying. Naruto was at least on good terms with him. His thought process was disrupted when he got up to the classroom. Iruka came into the classroom a few minutes later to address the class. "Welcome class. First off, I would like to congratulate all of you for passing and becoming genin. As you know, this means that you will now be put into teams of 3 and will carry out mission with both your teammates and your sensei. Now, for the team assigning. Team 1 will be," Iruka said as he announced several teams. This continued until he got to Team 7. Team 7 will be Naruto Uzumaki, Sakura Haruno, and Sasuke Uchiha, said Iruka, as he saw Naruto just put his head down in anger. "Kami, you have cruel sense of humor," Naruto thought to himself as he raised his head and looked at Sasuke and Sakura, seeing that they weren't too happy about the pick either. Rocker 1600 note. One of my two favorite funny moments in this story was laughing and thinking, yes it is, Naruto. The rest of the teams were announced, and were soon picked up by their respective senseis. Only Team 7 was left, and Naruto was getting pretty tired of waiting for a sensei that, to be perfectly blunt, probably couldn't teach him much. People far more powerful than anyone in Konoha, or the entire shinobi planet for that matter, had trained him personally. His squad leader would probably favor the Uchiha and spoil the little punk with jutsus. Naruto had to drown out these thoughts as they were making him sick to his stomach. Naruto was interested, however, to see just how he fared against a Jonin. Where is he? He couldn't have gotten lost, could he? Sakura asked as she wondered what was taking their squad leader so long. "Sakura, it's bad enough that I am stuck on the same team as you. Please don't make things worse by annoying me with your useless blabber," Naruto said as Sakura an angry look in response. "What did you say, you ignorant ba?" Sakura said before Naruto gave her one of those "remember what I can do to you" looks, silencing her. "HMPH," Sasuke said, annoyed at both his teammates and wishing he didn't have to wait around. The classroom door opened a couple of hours later to reveal a man with gray hair, a mask that covered half of his face, a standard Jonin outfit, and a headband that covered one of his eyes. He walked in and briefly observed the 3 genin. "Okay, you 3 are with me. Come outside so we can talk a little," the man said as the young ninja got up and followed him outside. "Okay, now I'm going to ask you guys about what you like, things you hate, and your dreams about the future. I'll start off. I'm Kakashi Hatake. I have no desire to tell you my likes and dislikes. My dreams for the future. As for my hobbies, I have lots of hobbies," Kakashi said while Naruto and the others had anime sweat drops on their heads. Well, that was informative, Naruto thought to himself as he looked at Kakashi lazily. "Okay now, blonde kid, tells us a little bit about you." Kakashi back as Naruto regained his focus and straightened out his back. "My name is Naruto Uzumaki. I like ramen and hanging around with my friends. I hate people who are annoying and anyone who threatens my village and my friends." My dream is to one day become the strongest Nina and become Hokage, Naruto said as Kakashi nodded at the son of his late sensei. He's certainly gotten much more powerful than even I am, Kakashi noted as he told Sakura to tell the about herself. My name is Sakura Haruno. I like giggles, well the person I like, giggles, is Sasuke. I hate Naruto and others who don't like Sasuke. My dream is to be a great shinobi, Sakura said while annoying both Naruto and Kakashi in the process. Oh perfect, a fangirl, Kakashi thought before he told Sasuke that it was his turn. My name is Sasuke Uchiha. I hate a lot of things, and I don't particularly like anything. What I have is not a dream, because I will make it a reality. I'm going to restore my clan, and kill a certain someone, he said. Sakura began to look worried while Naruto just shook his head. Revenge, the one thing that will make anyone a pain in the ass, Naruto thought to himself as he looked at Sasuke. Kakashi looked at Naruto's expression and realized that his thought probably matched his own thought about what Sasuke just said before he continued his little lecture. Okay then, tomorrow I'm going to give you guys a little exercise I use with my teams. So get some rest and meet me at the training field. I would also advise that you don't eat anything in the morning if I were you, Kakashi said before he left to leave his students to their thoughts about his advice. Sakura and Sasuke were both worried. Naruto, on the other hand, was not fazed by Kakashi's warning in the slightest, as he already knew that Kakashi was bluffing. You might have these other two fooled, but you'll soon find that I'm much sharper than that, Naruto thought as he headed back to his apartment. The next morning Naruto woke up and ate a plentiful breakfast before he made his way to the training ground. Sakura and Sasuke showed up a few seconds later, their stomachs growling from not having eaten they left the training ground the previous day. Naruto mentally chuckled at the pathetic sight of them both. After a couple of hours Kakashi finally showed up to give them their task. Good morning everyone. Today's exercise will be a simple one. All you have to do is take one of these two bells from me. The two who managed to take a bell pass the test while the one who didn't get a bell will be tied to one of those posts there, Kakashi said as he held up the two bells. That's it? And here I was thinking that this would be a little bit challenging, Naruto said while popping his neck. I thought that we would be fighting or something, Sasuke said while Sakura nodded in agreement. You may think it is so simple, but I haven't told you this next bit. If you don't get one of the bells, you also won't get any lunch at the end, Kakashi said, getting surprised looks from both Sasuke and Sakura. That's why you didn't want us to eat this morning, Sakura said before Naruto gave a slow clap. And the light finally turns on, Naruto said sarcastically, getting an angry glance from Sakura. Getting back to what I was saying, that punishment pales next to the last bit yet, Kakashi said. Sasuke's eyes widened when he heard this while Sakura gulped. The tension in the air grew as Kakashi waited a few seconds before he continued. Whichever two of you get a bell will continue on to do another exercise, while the one who failed to get a bell will not only fail the test, he or she will be sent back to the academy immediately. This training exercise is actually an extremely difficult post-academy exam with a failure rate of over 66%. In other words, out of the 27 graduates this year only 9 will be chosen to become genin, Kakashi declared. He took a moment to mentally enjoy the reactions from Sasuke and Sakura before he saw that Naruto wasn't even fazed in the least. I see. That's very clever, Kakashi. If it wasn't for my time training at Las Noches, I wouldn't have figured out what you really want from us. Too bad these two wouldn't bother agreeing to it, Naruto thought to himself. Kakashi guessed that he either felt that his strength would be enough to beat him or, from he could tell from Naruto's expression, that he already figured out what the true purpose of this test really was. Shaking off these thoughts, Kakashi refocused his attention to the 3 graduates. Alright, you 3, I want you guys use whatever means to take these bells, and that includes the use of any ninja tools and jutsus. If not prepared to kill me, you won't get the bells. Understood? Kakashi asked. The genin nodded in agreement. It's time to see how I fare, Naruto thought as he readied himself for battle. Ready? Go, Kakashi said, while Sakura and Sasuke scattered. Naruto stayed put, crossing his arms. I have no intention of hiding and waiting. I'm going to see right now if I can hang with one of the best Konoha has to offer, Naruto said. He cracked a smile as Kakashi readied himself. I've actually wanted to see what you can do as well, Kakashi said while pulled out an orange book from one of his pouches. What are you doing? Naruto asked, raising an eyebrow at his sensei. Finding out what happens at the end, Kakashi said as he saw Naruto's face drop to the ground. Anyways, Naruto said before disappearing in a flash step. What the? Kakashi said before looking up to see Naruto with one leg raised vertically in the air. Hollow leg drop. Naruto yelled as he brought his leg down on Kakashi, causing a huge crater in the process. Holy crap, Sasuke and Sakura thought to themselves, with their jaws on the floor, as they witnessed the immense power Naruto had just displayed. When the dust settled, Naruto stood over a log that was broken in half. A substitution jutsu. This guy is quick on his feet, Naruto said as he looked around for his sensei. I had to admit I wasn't expecting that from him. I guess I won't be able to fight and read a book at the same time with him on my heels. Kakashi thought to himself as he hid in the tree from his student. He also decided to put his book back into its pouch. How in the name of Kami did you get so strong, Baka? Sakura asked as she and Sasuke came out of hiding and walked to Naruto. Years of intense training and a drive not fueled by revenge, Naruto said, having clearly directed the second part of his comment at Sasuke. Are you saying that my way is wrong? That I shouldn't punish the man responsible for my clan's destruction? Sasuke asked while Naruto just shook his head. You just don't get it, Naruto said while Sasuke began to walk away. Whatever, I'm gonna go find Kakashi and get my bell, Sasuke said before he disappeared, leaving Naruto and Sakura by themselves. Sasuke will definitely get a bell. He'll also help me get one too, Sakura said, to which Naruto just rolled his eyes. That idiot won't get a bell with that kind of attitude. Heck, even if he did manage to beat Kakashi, he still wouldn't get a bell, Naruto said with a smile while Sakura looked at him with confusion. What do you mean? Sakura asked while Naruto still smiled. This is what I mean, Naruto declared, holding up both bells. When did you get those? Sakura asked, shocked at the sight of the bells. When I disappeared, I snatched the bells quickly and then moved above Kakashi. I'm actually surprised he didn't notice, he said while Sakura's eyes sparkled at the bells. So I guess I had to beat you to get the bells. Let's do this, Sakura getting ready only to get laughed at by Naruto. As much as I would love to smear you across the ground, you're still my teammate, Naruto said to Sakura as he tossed her a bell and started to walk off. Why just give it to me so willingly? Sakura asked as Naruto turned around and looked at her. Because you'll need it more than me, he said before flash stepping away, leaving Sakura lost in thought. Naruto searched around for Sasuke. He expected to see him fighting Kakashi, but he found something else. Sasuke was neck deep in the ground, having been put there because of Kakashi. Naruto had to fight the urge to snicker at the prodigy's situation. So I guess you didn't get a bell, huh? Naruto said. This got him Sasuke's attention as well as a frown. I almost had him. What do you want, loser? Sasuke asked, while Naruto stood a few inches from his face. Your goal to get revenge for your clan isn't going to get you anywhere, Naruto replied. Sasuke was shocked at what Naruto just said. I have to avenge my clan. What do you know about it? Sasuke asked while Naruto just looked at him with a calm and collected expression. I don't know what it's like to lose your whole clan, but if you continue to go down this path of revenge, it'll only consume you in the end. Then what will you do? Naruto asked as Sasuke simply smirked at him. Here's my answer, loser, Sasuke said before proceeded to spit on Naruto's sandals. Oh well, can't say I didn't try. You don't deserve this, but I really don't care, Naruto said as he tossed the second bell in front of Sasuke. When did you get that? Sasuke asked. Naruto just flash stepped away again without responding. Naruto landed on a tree, where a certain masked, orange book reading Jonin was sitting on a branch. Kakashi put his book away and started to slowly clap. I'm impressed that you were able to get those bells in such a short time, Kakashi said as Naruto sat down on the tree branch. You should have at least attempted to use your Sharingan, though. It would have at least made things more interesting, Naruto said to Kakashi before taking a moment to mentally smirk at the Jonin's reaction. How did he? Never mind. I don't even want to know, Kakashi thought to himself as he regained his composure. Anyways, I'm just surprised that you didn't stop me or try to get the bells back, Naruto said as Kakashi sat down next to him. I wanted to see what you would do with them. So, why did you give those two the bells? Kakashi asked while Naruto thought back at his time in Las Noches. Flashback. Somewhere within Las Noches, Hueco Mundo. You really think that you can take me? Apache asked, enraged that Mila Rose would even try to take her on. Heck yeah, I could, unicorn weakling, Mila Rose said as she got face to face with Apache. You two fighting all the time is so childish and trivial, Sun Sun said, getting angry looks from the other two as a result. What did you just say? Apache asked, getting even madder because of the comment. Naruto, meanwhile, watched as the three Fraction members fought amongst themselves from the top of a nearby tower. He saw Tear Harabel walking behind him. Why do they constantly fight amongst themselves, Harabel-sama? They had to work together as a team with you and the rest of the Arrancar. But all they do is fight each other, Naruto said as Harabel walked up to him and to his right side. You are right, they do fight amongst themselves a lot, but they still work together because of their loyalty, Otimi. Loyalty is the key for any team to work together for a united goal, Harabel said as she saw that her wisdom had already reached Naruto. End flashback. Konoha Training Grounds. Current time. Let's just say that I had a good teacher that taught that loyalty is the key to uniting a team, Naruto said as Kakashi nodding at him. Well, the timer should be going off any moment now. You should probably go off somewhere, Kakashi said. Naruto took off as soon as he was done. A few seconds later, the timer went off and everyone made their way back to the hero's memorial stone. Sakura and Sasuke showed Kakashi that they had their bells. Kakashi congratulated them both and told them they could eat. He told Naruto that he would have to be tied to the log. Naruto willingly went over and let himself be tied up. Kakashi then told Sasuke and Sakura that they could eat their lunch, but were told that Naruto could not and that they could not feed him any of their lunch. Kakashi then said that they would attempt this test one last time just in case the results of the first attempt were a fluke before you left Team 7 so that they could eat their lunch. I still don't understand why you helped us, Naruto, Sakura said while Naruto just stared off into the ether. It doesn't matter if you understand it or not. Though I don't like it, you guys are my teammates, so I had to help you, Naruto said while Sasuke scoffed at him while he ate. You're an idiot who doesn't know how to take advantage of an opportunity and that's all there is to it, Sasuke said while eating his lunch in front of him in an unsuccessful attempt to irritate Naruto. He stopped when, to his amazement, he saw was Sakura raising her lunch to Naruto. Naruto was equally surprised by this move. Don't think that this means that I like you or anything, but you did help me. This is just way for me to thank you, Sakura said as Naruto breathed a sigh of relief. Oh, thank Kami. For a moment I thought you were trying to make me fall for you or something, Naruto said as he got an angry look from Sakura. Do you want to eat or what? Sakura asked before she saw that Naruto now had a serious look on his face. You'll have to feed it to my mouth considering I'm a little tied up right now, Naruto said. Sakura, while undoubtedly angry, understood the circumstances. Fine, here, Sakura said as she took a little bit of the food with her chopstick and giving it to Naruto. The minute Naruto swallowed the food, there was a huge boom. Kakashi appeared a split second later with an angry expression on his face. Didn't I tell you not to feed him? Kakashi yelled as he noticed Sakura looked scared out of her mind while Naruto had a serious look in his eyes. I was just giving him some of my lunch since he helped me get a bell, but terrified Sakura stuttered as Kakashi looked at her, then Naruto. Is this true, Naruto? Kakashi asked, though he already knew the truth. It's true. I gave Sakura her bell, Naruto replied while Sasuke just looked at him with anger. Well, if that's the case, Kakashi said in angry tone. Just as Sasuke and Sakura began to brace themselves for the worst, Kakashi suddenly turned tail and smiled at them, though it was hidden behind his mask. You pass, Kakashi said cheerfully while getting shocked looks from Sakura and Sasuke. We passed, Sakura said before proceeding to jump up with joy after Kakashi's statement sunk in. Well, that was a good act you put on there, sensei, Naruto said. Even Naruto was willing to admit that Kakashi scared him at the beginning, though not by much. What do you mean we pass? Sasuke asked as he was still unsure what was going on. This test was all about teamwork and how well you three could work together. Naruto was the only one who realized it, though it was Sakura's actions that sealed the deal, Kakashi said as he untied Naruto. I figured as much, but why so much deception? If the goal was teamwork, why not have a bell for each of us? Naruto asked, to which Kakashi responded by pointing at the memorial stone behind him. It's something that a close friend of mine taught me. Those who break the rules are scum, but those who betray are worse than scum, Kakashi said. Naruto nodded in understanding. He now realized this test was designed to see if the people partaking in it were able to place their team over the rules. So what now? Naruto asked after that they had passed their sensei's first test. Now, Team 7 starts missions tomorrow. Kakashi said as give the genin a thumbs up. Finally, we can get down to business, Naruto thought as he left Kakashi and his teammates and headed home. Naruto and his team had been completing numerous D-rank missions, all of which felt like a waste of time and, to both Naruto and Sasuke, a waste of their skills. In Naruto's case, most forget that all of these missions didn't even require the use of his Zanpakutō. Naruto was dying to get some action and, after going on a mission to retrieve Tora, the pet cat of the fire daimyo's wife, for the 10th time, he almost used his Zanpakutō on the feline in his frustration, having deciding that he would just put the cat out of its misery and to get it out of his hair, so to speak. Kakashi managed to talk Naruto down, thankfully, after he promised that they wouldn't do this mission again. Naruto wasn't too happy in sparing the cat's life, but as long as he didn't have to deal with this cat ever again, he was satisfied. Upon returning Tora, the daimyo's wife crushed it with a hug and paid the Hokage before she left. Naruto now felt a little sorry for the annoying feline. As the daimyo's wife left the room, Naruto decided to voice his frustration. Old man, this pile of crap that you call missions is not what I thought I was going to be doing when I graduated, Naruto said as he crossed his arms. I understand that these aren't the most ideal missions, but they are essential to the village's financial survival, Sandaime said as he got a frustrated sigh from Naruto and his teammates, as they were also tired of getting these chores. Can't you give me a mission that might force me to put some of my training to use? Naruto asked. Naruto was getting a little edgy over the fact that he had not been able to use what he had learned during his training in Las Noches outside of practice sessions with the rest of his team, and he couldn't even use full power even then after nearly, and accidentally, killing an unsuspecting genin team when he demonstrated his Gran Rey Zero to his team. Well, there is this one C-ranked mission that we have here. A bridge builder from Land of Waves needs a team to escort him back home so that he can finish a bridge, Sandaime said as he looked over the mission description. Sounds better than walking a dog or pulling out some old woman's weeds, Sasuke said. He, like Naruto, was also at his wit's end with all the ridiculous missions. Okay then, bring out the client, Sandaime ordered as two Chunin near the door of the room went to retrieve the builder. The builder was an old man holding onto a bottle of alcohol and seemed to be little more than a drunk to Team 7. What he said next did little to improve Team 7's, or at least Sakura and Sasuke's, opinion of him. What is this? I pay you guys to give me top protection and you give me a Cyclops, an emo-looking, duck-butt-haired freak, and a pink-haired monster with the largest forehead that I have ever seen, the bridge builder said, earning himself some ugly looks from Sasuke and Sakura while getting a snicker from Naruto. Got anything to comment on me? Naruto asked. He just was dying to see what this guy could come up with for him. Nice outfit, the bridge builder said as he gave Naruto a thumbs up. Naruto chuckled at this, to which Sakura and Sasuke got even more steamed. Mr. Tazuna, you only had enough money for a low-rank escort detail. Besides, you said bandits and highwaymen were the only people that might come after you on your way home, so I think that you are in good hands, Sandaime explained while smiling at Tazuna, who just rubbed the back of his head in embarrassment. The Sandaime's comments and Tazuna's reaction to Tot comment caused multiple alarms to ring out in Naruto's mind. Why would he need top protection if he's only worried about a bunch of thugs? If he's hiding something, then this might just make things interesting, Naruto thought to himself before he decided not to voice his suspicions. Shall we go then, Mr. Tazuna? Kakashi asked Tazuna, who gave the Jonin a sigh before nodding. Tazuna and his shinobi escort left the Konoha and headed out to the Land of Waves a few minutes later. On the way there, Sasuke didn't say much. Sakura tried to get his attention, and Kakashi rolled his eyes at Sakura's advances while Tazuna drank the rest of his drink. Naruto, on the other hand, was thinking the Espada and his Fracciones. He wondering how they doing and if he would ever see any of the Espada again. He knew that, eventually, he would see his Fracciones since he could call for them to join him whenever he pleased, though there was no need for that just yet. He snapped out of these thoughts when he saw a puddle on the right side of the road. Naruto would not have considered that out of the ordinary, if it wasn't for the fact that it hasn't rained in these parts for well over a month. Naruto smirked straight this as he walked past the puddle only to turn around sharply and, with his left hand, stabbed the puddle of water in the center. Tazuna, Sasuke, and Sakura looked at Naruto as if he was crazy until blood pooled out of puddle and two masked figures jumped out. Glad I wasn't the only one who noticed that, Kakashi thought to himself as he brought out a kunai. You little brat, how'd you find out? One of the masked guys asked as he brought out his clawed hand, which was chained to the clawed hand of his counterpart. Next time you should transform into anything except a puddle of water when it hasn't rained here in over a month, Naruto said as he unsheathed his Zanpakutō. So the kitty has a sword. Let's see if you can actually use that thing, other assailant said as he and his partner charged at Naruto with their claws ready to strike. Sasuke, Sakura, protect the bridge builder, Kakashi said as went to give Naruto a hand. Sasuke was a little reluctant to do that but had decided, wisely, not to get on Kakashi's bad side while Sakura, on the other hand, had no problem staying out of the fight. Naruto blocked one of the attackers while the other one tried to attack from behind only to be cut off by Kakashi and his kunai for his efforts. Naruto spun around and kicked the attacker to his rear over Kakashi's head. When the rear attacker was sent flying, Kakashi cut the chain connecting him to his partner. Naruto then took the one he kicked by the throat and slammed against the ground, knocking him out cold. With that assailant unconscious, Naruto turned his attention to the other one, only to find that Kakashi had already tied him up to a tree after he had defeated him. You know I could have taken them both, Naruto said as he was a little disappointed that Kakashi had stepped in during the battle. I know, but where's the fun in letting my students do all the fighting? Kakashi asked, rhetorically, as gave Naruto an eye smile. Anyways, why don't we find out who this guy is? Naruto said as looked at the bound masked man. These two are the demon brothers of Kiri. The one you took out is Mizu, and the one we have here is Gozu. They were both ninja from Kirigakure but had defected a while back. Now they're just a couple of missing nins, Kakashi said. Naruto nodded in understanding before he began to question Gozu. So tell me, for what reason would a couple of missing nins like yourselves have to attack us? Naruto asked as he got close to Gozu. We were assigned to kill the old man so he couldn't finish his bridge, Gozu said. Naruto frowned at him upon hearing this revelation. If that's the case, then who is it that sent you? Naruto asked, to which Gozu scoffed at him. You're gonna run into him sooner than later, you little punk, and when that happens you and your team are as good as dead, Gozu said. The missing nin let out an evil chuckle as Naruto just smirked. We'll see about that, Naruto calmly said before he knocked Gozu out with a hit to the head. Is there something you forgot to mention back in Konoha? Kakashi asked while looking at Tazuna. Everyone else proceeded to do the same. Tazuna let out a sigh before he answered. I guess there's no reason to keep hiding it from you anymore. A powerful businessman and criminal boss by the name of Gato has been oppressing both my village and country. Gato runs a shipping magnate which he also uses as a front for smuggling various kinds of contraband and has taken over the shipping lanes into my country, which is our only way of getting supplies in and out of our country. If I can complete my bridge, it will open a different way of trading with different countries and get us free from Gato's grip on our country, since he can't take that over without drawing suspicion from the other nations. Gato knows this and he has been trying to keep me away from the land of waves by any means necessary. I could only get enough money to pay for a C-ranking mission, which is why I said that bandits and thieves were the only ones that might come after me. I know I tricked you, but you had to understand that my village, and my country by extension, won't survive while Gato remains in power. I'm not asking you to stay with me. You can leave and end the mission right now if you wish, Tazuna said while Kakashi looked, first at him, and then at his genin team. What do you guys think we should do? Kakashi asked his team, who were now in thought. Naruto was the first one to answer. I knew something was amiss. Well, I wanted action, and now I've got it. It also sounds like this guy and his country are in a real bind and I can just stand around and let innocent people suffer. I'm in, Naruto said, getting a nod from Kakashi. Sure, it'll help me prove that I am an elite, Sasuke said, getting an approving nod from Sakura. Oh brother, Naruto thought to himself, rolling his eyes in annoyance. I guess it's settled then. We will protect you until the bridge is completed, Tazuna, Kakashi said, earning a smile from Tazuna. "Thank you so much," Tazuna said as he kept walking with Team 7 to the land of waves. Team 7 was making its way closer and closer to Tazuna's village, staying on their guard for anyone that might come for them the whole time. Kakashi was keeping cool throughout the trip, though he stayed on his toes, so to speak, the whole time as well. Sakura was hoping that she wasn't going to have to fight anyone considering her skills weren't up to par with either Sasuke or her sensei. She hadn't acknowledged Naruto's strength yet, though he could care less about her acknowledgement. Sasuke didn't care if he might be forced to fight since he was an elite, and, as such, he would be victorious against any opponent. Naruto, meanwhile, was actually hoping that he would get to fight a strong opponent. This was part of the reason why he became stronger in Las Noches. Other than protecting those precious to him, Naruto wanted to get stronger by fighting the strongest. Maybe it was a bit of his mentor Noitra Gilga was rubbing off on him, or, more than likely, he was just frustrated by the lack of action in his previous missions. The one thing that Naruto was certain of was that he had an itch to fight someone he could actually let loose on. Naruto was taken out of his train of thought when he heard something moving in a copse of nearby bushes. Naruto then leapt at the copse and unsheathed his Zanpakutō, pointing the tip at the source of the disturbance. He was surprised to see that the culprit was nothing more a white rabbit which trembled as Naruto held his Zanpakutō at it. Naruto put his blade back into its sheath and picked up the little rabbit. Everyone else was wondering why he had lunged at a bush until they saw him emerge from the bushes with the rabbit in hand. "False alarm, everyone, it was just this little guy here," said Naruto, giving a sheepish smile. "Getting spooked by a little rabbit, loser?" Sasuke asked mockingly. The smirk that he had vanished when he saw that Naruto was giving him an angry scowl. "Not as spooked you'll be if I drop you in Hueco Mundo for 5 minutes, Naruto said, to which Sasuke quickly, albeit reluctantly, backed down in fear. Naruto not told his team much regarding his time training in Hueco Mundo to the members of his team. The stories he had told them, however, were terrifying enough for his teammates to wonder whether he had simply gone to hell for 7 years. "Naruto, don't you think there's something weird about this rabbit?" Kakashi asked. Naruto raised an eyebrow as he looked back down at the rabbit until he understood what Kakashi was talking about. "This rabbit's coat is as white as snow. It's midsummer, so it should be gray. Someone's been keeping this rabbit someone's indoors and cool," Naruto said as he saw Kakashi nod at him. Before Kakashi could say another word, however, a huge sword appeared from out of nowhere and came flying towards the group. Everyone ducked except for Naruto who, using his quick reflexes, managed to draw out his Zanpakutō. He spun underneath the spinning blade and thrusted the blade into the hole of the sword as it passed by him, causing the blade to spin around his Zanpakutō until it settled down towards the Tsuba. Naruto pulled his Zanpakutō out of the hole of the huge blade. Naruto saw that it was a very large sword that was in the form of an oversized butcher's knife. "Not bad, kid. I didn't expect that you would be able to maneuver that fast," Zabuza said as he appeared from the shadows. "This is quite a large blade you have here. Are you compensating for something?" Naruto asked. Zabuza narrowed his eyes at him. Rocker 1600 note. "My other favorite funny moment. You better watch your mouth, kid, or I'll show you how to really wield a blade," Zabuza warned Naruto, who simply grinned at him. "Now that is something I'd like to see," Naruto said before he tossed the executioner's blade back to Zabuza. "Be careful, Naruto. This is Zabuza Momochi, one of the 7 swordsmen of the mist. He has been called the Demon of the Mist due to his brutality and bloodlust, so don't take him lightly," Kakashi warned, to which Naruto replied by giving him a smirk. "Don't worry about me, sensei. This guy lost this fight the moment I became his opponent," Naruto said as he unsheathed his Zanpakutō and entered into his fighting stance. "Don't push your luck with me, kid. You may have some skills, but I've been handling a blade a lot longer than you have," Zabuza said as he took his stance as well. "Then how about you show me instead of talking me to death," Naruto said as he ran towards Zabuza. "Gladly," Zabuza said as he swung his blade at Naruto's head. Naruto brought up his blade and met Zabuza's sword head-on. Naruto then proceeded to push back the executioner's blade before he made a vertical swing. Zabuza parried the strike off. He spun around and swung vertically at Naruto, who simply ducked and landed a kick to Zabuza's chest, which sent him flying. Zabuza managed to recompose himself, but not before Naruto was already on top of him. Zabuza was barely able to bring up his sword in time to block Naruto's attack. I have to admit, I was expecting more from one of the 7 swordsmen of the mist, Naruto said in a rather insulting tone, putting Zabuza down even more with the fact that he was only fighting with one hand on the blade while the other hand was still in his pocket. Don't get overconfident so quickly, Zabuza said as he kept both hands on his sword. Naruto raised an eyebrow before he saw someone running past them both and heading right for Kakashi, Sasuke, Sakura and Tazuna. It was Zabuza, which meant Naruto was fighting a clone. Naruto immediately used his free hand to disarm the clone of the executioner's blade and, in one swift and fluid motion, sliced off Zabuza's head. The real Zabuza, meanwhile, brought up his sword to try to slash through Kakashi, who had activated his Sharingan to get to Tazuna. But as he was about to bring down his sword, Naruto grabbed Zabuza by his body strap. You should make sure that I'm taken care of before you focus on anyone else, Baka. Naruto said as he flung the swordsman to the spot where he had been fighting Zabuza's clone. Very well, I was getting sick of you anyway, Zabuza said as he began forming multiple hand signs. He's got something big up his sleeve. Luckily I got something up my sleeve for him, too, Naruto thought as he placed both hands on his Zanpakutō. Water style. Great waterfall technique. Zabuza yelled as a huge wall of water surged around him and barreled towards Naruto. Move, Naruto. Kakashi yelled as he got the others out of the way. Naruto just stood there, however, as some powerful energy was building up in Naruto's blade, which took the form of an orange-colored wave that resembled a crescent moon. Getsuga Tensho. Naruto yelled as he swung his sword and sent the massive wave of Ryotsu flying. The attack cut right through the wall of water as if it wasn't even there. Tazuna and the rest of Team 7 just looked on in shock as the attack then pushed right through Zabuza and sent him flying. He eventually smacked right into a tree back first. Zabuza then looked up and saw Naruto walking slowly towards him. Zabuza stood up, but was immediately pinned to the tree by 3 kunais before he could do anything else. Kakashi then appeared on a tree branch above him. Nicely done, Naruto, Kakashi said, flashing his usual eye smile. Thanks, that's the same attack I used for my jutsu test back at the academy, Naruto said. When he did the attack at the academy it was, intentionally, much weaker than the one he just used right now, and even then he was still using only a tiny fraction of the full power of that attack. Impressive. Anyways, I think it's time to finish him, Kakashi said as he pulled out a kunai. Agreed, Naruto said as he took out his Zanpakutō in one hand. I am not gonna be put down by some little punk. You can ki, Zabuza said before he was struck in the neck with 3 senbon needles. What the? Naruto asked before a Kirigakure hunter nin appeared next to Zabuza. Thank you. If it had not been for your intervention and strength I don't think I would have taken Zabuza down, the hunter ninja said as he looked down at Zabuza. No prob, always happy to help someone with a problem, Naruto said as he sheathed his Zanpakutō. Now then I will take him away and dispose of his remains, the hunter ninja said while picking Zabuza up off the ground. Don't you think you should take care of that now? I mean that is how you guys do things professionally in your department, Naruto asked as he suddenly got a little suspicious of the ninja. You're quite clever. The problem with that is that we hunter nins also dispose of the body where can see us doing so. We'll definitely meet again, though, the hunter ninja said before taking off with Zabuza. That was an accomplice of Zabuza's. This fight isn't over yet, Naruto said, getting an agreeing from Kakashi. You're right, but for now let us get Tazuna to his village so that he can do his job and we can do ours, Kakashi said before he walked back to Sakura and the others with Naruto next to him. This mission just keeps getting better and better, Naruto thought to himself as smiled with sheer excitement. Naruto and his team had finally made it safely to Tazuna's village with their client in tow. And, to be blunt about it, the town was in dire straits. There were children on the streets, some too impoverished to even beg. Prices on all kinds of goods were sky high, and homes were being foreclosed. Naruto found his anger rising with each glance at the place. This Gato guy was going to die a slow and very painful death, he would make sure of that. Eventually the group arrived at Tazuna's home where Tsunami, Tazuna's daughter, greeted them at the door and thanked the shinobi for getting her father home safe. After they had settled in, Kakashi wanted to have a discussion with his students. What's up Kakashi-sensei? Naruto asked as he sat down with the rest of his squad. As you all know, Zabuza is down, but he is certainly not out. I suspect even now that he is gathering up his strength to come and attempt to kill Tazuna again. To prepare for that, you all need to get some training done. We'll rest for today, but tomorrow I need to teach you some new techniques. I will also send word to Konoha to provide us some backup, Kakashi said as he got up from where he had sat down. The Konoha Jonin stopped, however, when Naruto spoke up. Actually, we don't have to wait so long for backup. I can get us some help right now, Naruto said. This claim shocked both his sensei and teammates. Who? Kakashi asked. He was, naturally, intrigued at whom his squad member could be bring to help them out. My Fracciones. They're basically my personal followers that are nearly as powerful as I am. I can bring them here though. The Garganta, a portal that connects this world to Hueco Mundo, Naruto said as he saw Kakashi nod at him. Alright then, have your Fracciones come here tomorrow, Naruto, Kakashi said. He Jonin suddenly liked their odds in their upcoming battle with Zabuza. Tsunami called them all in for dinner and had 4 plates set out for the shinobi. Tsunami also said that her son Inari would be home soon, which explained the extra plate. As they ate, Sasuke eyed Naruto's Zanpakutō, lusting for it after seeing the destruction it could do. Naruto told him and the rest of his team as they were walking towards Tazuna's town that the sword would never listen to anyone's will but his own and that it would reject any other wielder, using very violent means to do so. Sasuke, ignoring Naruto's warning, grabbed the hilt of the blade and was overwhelmed with terror at the blade's immense power. The power was so great that it shoved at him some 30 feet away from the sword. Sakura tended to him while Naruto just shook his head at the poor attempt. Even though he was shot back, Sasuke still hungered for the blade. Naruto told him that if he tried it again he would break his fingers, so he couldn't even grasp it, or if he was in a very bad mood, he would gouge the Uchiha's eyes so he couldn't see where the sword was located, which was enough to stop any more of Sasuke's futile attempts. At this point, Inari came into the room and was surprised to see 4 strangers in his house with his mother and grandfather. Inari, these people are ninja from Konoha. They protected your grandfather as he came back home and have decided to guard him while he finishes the bridge so he can be free of Gato, said Tsunami, smiling at her son. Faye, they're just more fools coming to meet their deaths. Gato is too powerful to be stopped at this point, Inari said, ran up to his room. What is that kid's problem? Naruto asked as he thought that the kid would have been happy that his village was getting some help. Several years ago, a man named Kaiza saved Inari from drowning. After that day he basically became the boy's father. One day, Kaiza stood up to Gato and ended up losing his life because of it by being publicly executed. Since then Inari has been somewhat downtrodden, Tazuna said as the sadness in his face clearly showed. That's really sad, Sakura said as she felt sorry for the kid. Sasuke, on the other hand, paid no mind to this. He'll change his mind when we're done here, Naruto said as he set down his bowl and got ready for bed. The next day Team 7 found a secluded place in the forest around Tazuna's village to begin their training. Before they began, however, Naruto was going to bring in his Fracciones. Above all else, Naruto was excited to see his Fraccione again, though he didn't really show it at the moment. Naruto proceeded to open up a Garganta using the Discord technique. Kakashi, Sakura, and Sasuke were, not surprisingly, a little freaked out by the sight of a portal opening up out of nowhere. Tiraran, Django, come on out, Naruto yelled as he looked into the blackness of the Garganta. Naruto-sama, Tiraran yelled from the Garganta as she lunged out and tackled Naruto. Good to see you too, Tiraran, Naruto said, giving a small smile to her once he got out of the Arrancar life-squeezing embrace. She was waiting for the time when you would call for us, Django said as he walked calmly out of the Garganta. Glad to see you missed me, Django, Naruto said after he got up off the ground. Everyone, these are my Fracciones, Tiraran and Django, Naruto said. Both Fracciones bowed politely to Team 7. It's a pleasure to meet you too. I am Kakashi Hitaki, leader of Team 7. These are the other members of the squad, Sakura Haruno and Kakashi said before he was cut off by Sasuke. Sasuke Uchiha, last of the Uchiha clan, Sasuke said with a smug look on his face as he proclaimed his title. Is that supposed to mean something? Tiraran asked innocently. It means that I represent the most powerful clan of ninja there is. You should be more respectful to your betters, Sasuke said as he tried to make himself appear as a big shot. As both Arrancar were at the same level as the high-level Espada, however, it didn't work. I haven't seen your skills, so you will receive no respect from me, Django said in his usual calm tone. Is that a challenge? Sasuke asked as he got in Django's skull mask face. Is this what you're dealing with since you returned, Naruto-sama? I already want to kill this little insect in the first few minutes of being close to him, Django said. He earned a smirk from Naruto and Tiraran when they noticed that Sasuke's anger visibly grew. Shut up, Sasuke yelled. He tried to punch Django in the face, but was caught just a few inches from his target. That is very unwise of you. Let me go ahead and make sure you don't use this hand again, Django said as he began to unsheathe his Zanpakutō out with his free hand. Let him go, Django. Though I hate him just as much as you do, he is still on my team and I need him to be back in Konoha, alive. And with all his limbs intact, Naruto said. He noticed that Django took a deep breath before he let go of Sasuke. If you say so, Naruto-sama, Django said as he sheathed his Zanpakutō and stood next to Naruto. Kakashi and Sakura were surprised by both Django's aggressive nature and how the Arrancar obeyed Naruto's orders so easily. Now that the introductions have been made, listen very closely you two. I called you two here because we are dealing with a powerful foe named Zabuza Momochi. The man also has a mysterious accomplice who is aiding him and whose full abilities are currently unknown. Your job is to protect the bridge builder Tazuna when we cannot. Understood? Naruto asked. Yes, sir, both of the Arrancars replied as they bowed to their master. Kakashi, you should train Sasuke and Sakura. I'd like to spar with my Fracciones, if you don't mind, Naruto said, to which Kakashi nodded. Makes sense. Since you can fly, there's really no reason to teach you what I'm about to teach them. Anyways, Kakashi said before he told Sakura and Sasuke to follow him to train. He was unaware, obviously, of the nature of Naruto's flash step. Alright you two. Time to make sure my skills don't get rusty, Naruto said before he got into a fighting stance. Yay, just like old times, Tiraran said while Django just popped his neck. The three soon went at it in a blink of an eye. Zabuza's hideout. Meanwhile, Zabuza was lying on his bed, bandaged up from his fight with Naruto. He was replaying the fight over and over in his head. The attack the kid used to counter his water jutsu was incredible, having practically torn through it and even managed to injure him. Zabuza cringed at the thought that Naruto hadn't used the full power of that attack. Impressive though he may be, however, he still needed to be taken out since he was in the missing nin's way. He was pulled back into reality when Haku entered his room. I managed to find some medicine that will help you heal more easily, Zabuza, Haku said as the Kekkei Genkai wielder took out a container of medicine and gave him a pill. This medicine better get me on my feet quick, Haku. We need to make sure we take of the bridge builder so we can get paid, Zabuza said before he swallowed the pill and took a sip of water. We will. Though, you need to rest now and gather your strength, Haku said before she left the room to let her master rest. A rematch with the kid will be enough for me. Haku will hopefully even the odds, Zabuza thought to himself as he went back to sleep, readying himself for tomorrow. Naruto, who had fallen asleep from exhaustion as a result of his practice fight with his Fracciones, was in the guest room of Tazuna's house when he woke up. As he propped himself up and saw that his two Fracciones were still sleeping. Django was sitting Indian style with his arms crossed and his back against the wall while he slept. Tiraran, meanwhile, was leaning against Django's shoulder. Naruto smiled at his Fracciones' apparent closeness. This was to be expected, however, as they had been very close even before they had become Arrancar and were actually the closest thing to siblings anyone in Hueco Mundo had ever seen. Naruto silently crept by the Arrancars and tiptoed his way out of the room so as to not to awake them as they had also been left exhausted from the training session. Naruto made his way downstairs and found Tsunami washing dishes in the kitchen. Tazuna's daughter heard Naruto coming down the stairs and smiled at him when he appeared at the entrance. Well, there's the sleeping warrior. I was wondering when you were gonna wake up, Tsunami said as she set down another dish before she grabbed another of the dirty one. Where is my team and sensei? Naruto asked as Tsunami set a plate of breakfast out on the table for him. They left with my father to guard him while he works on the bridge. Your sensei thought it best for you and your Fracciones to rest up, Tsunami said as Naruto ate his meal. Naruto was finishing his meal when Inari walked in, his eyes still full of anguish and anger. He glanced at Naruto and was about to walk away when Naruto spoke to him. "There is much anger in you. I understand why now, but you shouldn't be in such sorrow. Your father was a good man who was willing to die in order to stand up for what he believed in. You should be following in his footsteps instead of living in despair and fear," Naruto said. This caused Inari to stop in his tracks. "My father stood up to a powerful man and died. I will not make such a stupid mistake like that," Inari said, to which Naruto shook his head. He realized that the boy was going to need a rude wake-up call, so to speak, if his message to him was to reach him. "Let me ask you something, Inari. Do you think Gato will just go away if you just give up like that? Do you think that crying will make that man and his thugs disappear? Then you should think carefully before saying things like that," Naruto said with a very intense look in his eye and a calm and serious tone in his voice. Naruto continued his little lecture as Inari looked at him, having been left speechless by the ninja's words. Tsunami, while still cleaning the dishes, paid very close attention to the conversation. "Gato is indeed a powerful man, but only because people like you let him have such power. He'll only go away when you are willing to stand up to him and refuse to let him push you around. You may be knocked down and you may even be killed, but one thing is clear. You had to try, otherwise your dad will have died in vain," Naruto said. Naruto then got up and went back upstairs after finishing his little lecture, leaving Inari to reflect on what he just said. When Naruto got to the guest room, he opened the door quietly so as to not startle his fracciones. Naruto, however, made a mistake when shut the door too quickly, causing the two Arankars to wake up from their slumber. Django woke first, with Tiraran doing the same a second later, and, when they did wake up, they looked right at each other before both jumped back in embarrassment, much to Naruto's amusement. Tiraran blushed heavily while Django stood up straight and coughed a few times. "Good morning, Naruto-sama," Django said while he tried to regain his composure. "Good morning to you both," Naruto said, having decided to not embarrass his fracciones any more than he had. "What is the mission today, Naruto-sama?" Tiraran asked as she smiled promptly at her master. "I guess we have to go to the bridge now and protect the bridge builder." "Until ha," Naruto said before he was interrupted by the sound of a crash of some sort coming from downstairs. Naruto held up his hand to keep his fracciones still before whispering to them to wait for his order. Naruto then tiptoed downstairs to see what was happening. He found Tsunami being held hostage by two bandits while Inari was standing across from them. "Why are you here?" Inari asked as one of the thugs, one of his eyes covered by an eye patch, held his mother hostage while the other thug, who had white hair, stood in Inari's way. "Our boss wants us to kidnap you and your mommy, so we have a bargaining chip in case that Zabuza guy fails to take out the bridge builder," the eye patch thug said. The flashed a psychotic grin as Inari grew angrier. "No, I won't let you take her," Inari said as he charged at the man, only to be swatted away by the other thug. "Play the hero and expect to get killed, kid," the white-haired thug said as he brought up his sword as he prepared to kill Inari. Inari closed his eyes and waited for the coming blow to end him before he suddenly heard the sound of a painful grunt and the collapse of a body to the floor. Inari opened his eyes and saw Naruto standing in front of him, his sword unsheathed, and the white-haired thug on the floor dead. A stab wound located right where the thug's heart used to be. "So you finally decided to stand up and fight, huh?" Naruto asked as he flashed a reassuring smile at Inari, who, not surprisingly, was shocked at seeing the scene before him. "You little gaki," the eye patch thug yelled before he tossed Tsunami to the floor and charged at Naruto. Before he could even 3 steps towards Naruto, however, he stopped dead in his tracks with a pained expression on his face. Before anyone other than Naruto could react, a black-colored blade suddenly pierced through the lowlife's chest. Once the sword was so retracted from the thug's chest, he collapsed to the ground, dead, with a diagonal slash across his back to go with the stab wound. Django and Tiraran, who were obviously the ones who took him down, stood behind the thug's corpse as they sheathed their Zanpakutōs. "No other threat is in the vicinity of the house," Django said in his calm and calculating manner. Naruto went to check on Tsunami, only responding to Django's statement once he confirmed that she was unharmed. "Very well, then, you and Tiraran are to stay here and keep it that way. I'm going to the bridge as I suspect Zabuza and his associate are attacking my team and the bridge builder as we speak, Naruto said as he walked towards the door. Please be careful out there, Naruto, Inari said as he stood next to his mother. You don't need to worry, Inari. You'll see me again, Naruto said before giving him a thumbs up. The shinobi then proceeded to the bridge's construction site. As Naruto flash stepped towards the bridge, he felt something he hadn't felt since he left Las Noches, excitement. Naruto felt the adrenaline pumping through him, and he loved it. He couldn't wait to get in on this fight as he now had a chance to display his skills. He could tell that his Zanpakutō was also itching for a fight as he continued shunpoing towards the battle. Construction site for the bridge, Land of Waves. Meanwhile, things were not boding well for the rest of Team 7. Kakashi was battling Zabuza head-on in zero visibility as he had been caught in the swordsman's hidden mist jutsu. Sasuke was trying to fight Haku but was caught in her crystal ice mirror jutsu. All the while Sakura was stuck giving what protection she could to Tazuna while the others fought though, to be perfectly blunt. Tazuna would die if either Kakashi or Sasuke fell in battle if Naruto doesn't arrive soon since Sakura nowhere near as capable in battle as her three teammates. Zabuza swung down at Kakashi only to be blocked by a kunai in his hand. Where's the blonde kid, Kakashi? He's the one I really want to fight right now, Zabuza said as he added pressure to his sword in an attempt to overpower Kakashi. He'll be here soon enough, Zabuza. Until then, however, you'll just have to settle for me, Kakashi said as he broke out of the power struggle and went on the attack. Sasuke, meanwhile, now looked like a human pincushion with all the senbon needles that now stuck out of him courtesy of Haku. Even now the Uchiha struggled to his feet in his current state, though his arrogance was still as strong as it had been for the past 5 years. Why don't you just stay down? You will only get knocked down again, and if you keep struggling I'll have no choice but to kill you, Haku said, as she was getting frustrated by her opponent's persistence. Shut up, an elite like myself will always prevail in the end, Sasuke said, to which Haku sighed. If that's too you feel, then I guess reasoning with you would be pointless, Haku said as she pulled out even more needles. Haku threw a handful of these needles at the Uchiha, which would have put the prodigy into a death trance had something not blocked the needles before they could hit Sasuke. Haku gasped at the sight of Naruto standing in the way of the needles, which were now on the ground in front of him. He had apparently blocked them with his own body without getting a scratch on him. The Uzumaki Namikaze clansman sighed, as if he had been reluctant to save his teammate. As much as I didn't want to save him, the civilian council back home would have my head if I let their precious Uchiha die. But at least I finally get to see what you're made of, Naruto said as a smile crossed his face. You heard Zabuza-sama, you will pay for that, Haku said before she threw another barrage of needles right at Naruto. The needles collided with Naruto only to drop onto the ground. Each needle simple made a ding sound when it hit with Naruto's body. Not only were the senbons unable to break skin, the weapons were not even capable of tearing Naruto's outfit, which still looked spotless. Haku stopped her attack and looked at him with shock, though her mask hid her face. How are you doing that? Haku asked as she had, not surprisingly, never seen someone so durable in battle. Naruto, before he replied, found himself going into a flashback of his training at Las Noches. Flashback, unspecified training room, Las Noches, Hueco Mundo. 5 years before Naruto's return, Naruto stood 10 yards from Noitra, who had his usual grin sprouting on his face. Each drew their weapons and got prepared for battle with such precision that it appeared as if they were performing a choreographed dance. You ready, kid? Noitra asked as he placed his scythe blade on his shoulders. Yes, Naruto said with a serious tone in his voice. Then you can have the first shot, Noitra said before he made a hand motion for Naruto to come at him. Naruto charged at Gilga and was soon above his head. He then proceeded to bring his blade down with extreme force. It cut across Noitra, but only created sparks as it came down, not being able to cut through the espada. Naruto landed on his feet and jumped back away from Noitra. Noitra checked for a scar but found nothing. He then brought up his scythe and swung down at Naruto. Naruto took the hit and sparks flew until Noitra's attack reached the boy's abdomen in a small cut. Naruto gasped and clutched his side as Noitra rested his scythe on his shoulder once again and shook his head. You had to get much stronger than that if you're going to have a tough hero like mine, Noitra said as he stood over a kneeling Naruto. Yes, Noitra-sama, Naruto said as he bowed his head before the espada. End flashback. My teachers made sure I would be able to withstand any attack thrown my way. Now that I've answered your question, let us talk in the open. I'm getting a headache just staring at all these mirrors, Naruto said before he seemingly vanished into thin air. Hikaru tried to locate him but was soon preoccupied when she saw that her mirrors suddenly shattered. Hikaru attempted to fix the broken mirrors, but it took long for her to realize what was going on and, more importantly, that she was too slow to stop Naruto, who refused to let up his shunpo, from destroying mirror after mirror. Hikaru barely managed to escape the last mirror before it was destroyed as well. Hikaru landed on her feet and prepared for a fight but was, to her horror, caught by her throat by Naruto. He lifted her off her feet and stared her in the eyes. Damn it, Naruto, you should have just left her to me. Sasuke said as he got to his feet. Not now, Sasuke, Naruto said while he was still clutching Hikaru by the throat. I order you to let me finish her off, Yuba, Sasuke said before Naruto sent the Uchiha flying with a backhand strike. Such an annoyance, Naruto said before he turned his attention back on Hikaru. What are you going to do to me? Hikaru asked as she was, understandably, terrified of what a powerful opponent like Naruto would do to her. What he actually did surprised her, however. Nothing, Naruto replied before he released his grip on Hikaru. The Konoha shinobi turned his attention to the fight between Zabuza and Kakashi. Why? You had me right for the kill, so why did spare me? Hikaru asked. She was, naturally, curious as to why he would just let her live despite what she had done to his teammate. Because when you attacked me, I followed the spots you aimed for and I took a moment before that to see where you had struck my teammate. You didn't aim for anything vital in the human body. You weren't trying to kill me or Sasuke, Naruto said as he saw Hikaru look away in apparent shame. Killing isn't really my style, Hikaru said as if she was a little disappointed with her weakness. The way I see it, you didn't try to kill me, so I have no reason to kill you. Now if you don't mind, it would appear as if my sensei is in need of my help, Naruto said as he disappeared yet again, leaving Hikaru to her thoughts. Zabuza and Kakashi, meanwhile, were still locked in an intense battle. Zabuza brought up his sword to attack Kakashi yet again only to be blocked by Naruto's Zanpakutō. Naruto smirked at the swordsman who, not to anyone's surprise at this point, was smirking underneath his bandages. You ready to finish what we started, kid? Zabuza asked as he crossed swords with Naruto. What do you think? Let's finish this, Naruto said as he allowed his adrenaline to take over for this showdown. The clanging of metal was heard throughout the bridge as Naruto and Zabuza continued to clash. Zabuza, much to Naruto's delight, was doing much better this time around as Naruto blocked a lot more than in his last encounter with the swordsman. While Zabuza was taking everything that Naruto was unleashing upon him, the missing nin could tell that his opponent was still holding back a lot of his strength. While that annoyed Zabuza to an extent, he knew how much trouble he would have been in if Naruto went all out. His thoughts were interrupted by another vertical swing from Naruto. Zabuza managed to block the blade in the nick of time before he jumped back several yards to give himself some room to catch his breath. Not bad, you've definitely gotten better since last time, Naruto said as he rested his blade on his shoulder. I've had time to rethink my strategy a bit, though I can still tell that you're still holding back quite a lot, Zabuza said with a heavy breath as he had his blade rest on the ground. If I didn't, this fight would have been over rather quickly. No offense to your skills, mind you, Naruto said. Considering the opponent he was facing, the blonde tried to not undersell Zabuza's kenjutsu abilities. None taken. I'm equally impressed that you dismantled Haku's ice mirrors. I've never seen anyone do that before, Zabuza said. Zabuza, having trained his associate himself, knew that she was actually more dangerous than he was, with her mirrors being one of her deadliest abilities since they were supposedly unbreakable. You should be proud of Hikaru. She is an impressive shinobi herself with that kind of power. To be honest, I don't want to have to take away her father figure from her, Naruto said, only to hear a scoff from Zabuza. Some father? I've only seen her as a tool, not a daughter, the whole time, Zabuza said, to which Naruto shook his head. She sees you as a father, and if you really want to fight to the bitter end, it will only cause her great pain, Naruto said as he looked to Hikaru, who was watching the battle with fear clearly in her eyes. I'm a shinobi and it only makes sense that I fight to the end. This is something she'll understand when she's older. So you ready to end this or not? Zabuza asked as he lifted his sword off the ground. Naruto sighed as he twirled his sword one time in a circle. The two began their clashed swords yet again, with the pace picking up with each swing. Zabuza made one vertical swing with just about everything he had, which missed Naruto, creating a huge crack on the ground instead. Naruto used Zabuza's prone position to his advantage by stabbing Zabuza's left arm, rendering it useless. Zabuza grunted as he recuperated himself. Hiku was horrified by this and started to run to Zabuza's aid, only to be stopped by Kakashi. Hiku could only look on helplessly as her adoptive father tried to continue fighting with only one arm. Zabuza was swinging wildly now as his broken left arm meant that he couldn't control his sword properly. Naruto sidestepped everything Zabuza threw at him and struck the missing nin the moment he began slowing down. Just as with his previous attack, Naruto struck the other arm and rendered it useless. Zabuza's sword hit the ground with a huge clang, which sounded like an explosion in the otherwise silent construction site. Zabuza staggered as his breathing became even heavier as he stood staggering, both his arms now completely limp at his sides. Naruto just looked at the former swordsman of the mist with an emotionless face, as if waiting for his opponent to decide his own fate. Zabuza didn't say a word to Naruto. He only nodded before closed his eyes in anticipation of his own death. Naruto obliged his opponent by bringing the tip of his Zanpakutō to Zabuza's heart and piercing it. Zabuza gasped and coughed up blood before he stumbled over. Naruto caught him and laid him on his back before he nodded to Kakashi, who let Hiku go to the dying Zabuza. Hiku rushed to Zabuza's side and began to cry. "Zabuza-sama, please don't go," Hiku said with tears streaming down her face as the blood poured out of Zabuza. "Don't grieve, Hiku. Our time together might be over, but you've still got plenty of time left. Take care of yourself, stay strong, and I know you'll go on to do great things," Zabuza said, while smiling underneath his bandages at his adoptive daughter, who continued to cry. "Hopefully the afterlife will be kind to you, Zabuza," Naruto said, to which Zabuza gave a small chuckle. "I wouldn't hold my breath, kid. I haven't exactly been the nicest person in the world. I guess anything's possible in the end, though," Zabuza said as his eyes closed. A few seconds later his breathing stopped, marking Zabuza's end. Hiku was now crying even harder and, as if she was subconsciously reaching out, started to cry into Naruto's chest. Naruto was a little shocked, but he put his hands on her back and patted her in an attempt to comfort the grieving Hiku. Sasuke had regained consciousness from Naruto's backhand attack and wondered what he had missed when he saw Naruto holding Hiku while Zabuza was lying dead on the floor. Kakashi had his head down as an act of respect for the fallen swordsman. Then, from out of nowhere, everyone heard slow clapping coming from the other end of the bridge. Everyone had a scowl etched on their face when they saw Gato standing there with a small army for hired thugs. "Looks like Zabuza and that little bitch couldn't get the job done. Oh well, at least I don't have to pay him for his services," Gato said. The little man began to cruelly laugh at the death of Zabuza while his henchmen did the same. "Bastard," Hiku said. She was about to charge at Gato before Naruto seized her arm. "I'll handle this piece of trash, Hiku-chan," Naruto said. Naruto noted that Hiku blushed at the suffix added to her name. "Hang on, kid. Look, I know you're the one that defeated Zabuza, so how about you leave your teammates and come work for me? I can pay you handsomely," and Gato said before he and his thugs were suddenly being suffocated by an invisible force. "You are either very pathetic or very stupid if you're actually willing to think for 1 second that I would work for a scumbag like you," Naruto said as he refused to let up on the pressure of his Ryotsu. "What is he?" Hiku asked as she looked on with Kakashi, Sakura, and Sasuke. "He's human. He just has a power much greater than anything else in the ninja world," Kakashi said, getting a nod from Hiku, who was still watching of the power shown by Naruto in awe. "A power that should be mine," Sasuke selfishly and unrealistically thought to himself. The Uchiha's anger grew as Naruto continued to keep Gato and his thugs pinned to the ground. "Pete, please have mercy," Gato said as Naruto now stood above him, Zanpakutō in hand. "I can think of 1,000 bastards here who deserve mercy. Unfortunately, for you anyways, you nowhere on the list," Naruto said before he drove his blade right through Gato's skull, killing him instantly. Naruto then released the pressure he was applying and let the hired thugs get to their feet. They were all full of fear after witnessing their boss's death. They looked at Naruto, fearing he would end them next. Naruto simply gave them a straight face. "Boo!" Naruto said, and in an instant the group yelled in terror and ran off of the bridge. Naruto smirked and sheathed his Zanpakutō. Naruto then walked back to his group, who were still just staring at him. "I'd say this mission is just about wrapped up," Naruto said, to which Kakashi nodded at him. "Yes, but what should we do with her?" Kakashi asked as he looked over at Haku, who was back near Zabuza's side. "She'll come with us when this is over. Unless you have an objection to that?" Naruto asked. Before Kakashi could answer, however, Sakura decided to make herself heard. "Hell number. That tried to kill us and nearly did with Sasuke-kun. I am not having her with us," Sakura said before she found herself face to face with Naruto. "I'm sorry, Haruno. I don't seem to recall asking you for your opinion on a matter that doesn't concern you. However, if you're feeling brave and also feel like putting down a girl who just lost someone dear to her, then by all means continue," Naruto said, to which Sakura shrunk down. The kunoichi also felt a little guilty about what she said and decided to remain quiet for the rest of the day. "It's okay, Naruto. She has no reason to trust me," Haku said as Naruto nodded at her. Haku still gave Sakura an angry glance, however, which made the pink-haired girl even more ashamed of herself. "Well, in any case, the bridge is still unfinished, so we still have to stick around. Though I think the threat level has definitely gone down by a lot," Kakashi said while giving an eye smile as he and his team of genin all went back to their post to protect Tazuna. The group continued to protect Tazuna while he worked on the bridge. When they weren't protecting him, they were at his house hanging around. Naruto and the group also buried Zabuza on a hilltop, his sword being placed next to his tombstone. Naruto introduced Haku to Django and Tiraran, the latter of who was overjoyed at meeting someone new. Naruto also got to hang around with Inari for a while and pretty much became an older brother to the boy. When the bridge was finally finished, the group gathered up their things and made their way to the bridge. When they arrived, everyone in the village was waiting for them. Tazuna, Tsunami, and Inari were at the front of the group. "Our entire village is indebted to you for all that you have done. You are welcome back anytime," Tazuna said as Tsunami smiled at the group. "Will we ever see you again, Naruto?" Inari asked before Naruto put a hand on his head. "You can count on it," Naruto said while smiling with Inari as he turned to leave. "Dad, we haven't named the bridge yet," Tsunami said as the group left the village. "Oh, you're right. Well, how about, in honor of that kid, we call it the Great Naruto Bridge," Tazuna said, who got an approving yell from the village. "Looks like you made that village a better place, Naruto-sama," Tiraran said as she walked with Naruto on his right and Django on his left. "Yes, but everyone here helped in some way. The rest is up to them now," Naruto said while he put his hands in his pockets. "What will happen to me?" Haku, who was on the far side of the group, asked. "We have to report to the Hokage about the mission. He will decide what will happen," Kakashi said, made Haku a little anxious. "Don't worry, Haku-chan. The Hokage is not as bad as you think," Naruto said before giving her a comforting smile. "Enjoy that smile, loser. Once I get the council to make you hand over your power, you will be nothing, and I will once again be on top," Sasuke thought to himself as he mentally smiled at the plans he had for Naruto. He was completely oblivious to reality at that moment, though that would not be the case for long. Naruto, Team 7, Naruto's Fracciones, and Haku had just returned to the village when an Anbu arrived and told them to report to a meeting with the Hokage and the two councils. Naruto groaned at this as he now had to deal with the civilian council that had treated him like crap before his departure 7 years ago. He didn't mind dealing with the Shinobi Council because they had treated him with a lot more respect. Naruto and his group arrived as the civilian council had already been trying to have Sarutobi do something about the young Uzumaki, only to have their words fell on deaf ears. They couldn't do anything about it since Naruto was now a full-fledged shinobi and any direct actions towards him would responsibility of the Shinobi Council. Team 7 reporting back from a successful mission, Naruto said, which earned him the attention of everyone in the room. "So we've heard. Before we go any further, however, who exactly are the 3 people behind you, Naruto?" Sarutobi asked after he noticed Tiraran, Django, and Haku. "Well, the 2 behind me are Django and Tiraran. Back in Hueco Mundo, which is where I got my training, these 2 became my personal followers, which are known as Fracciones. They fight, defend and assist me in any way they can." The girl to my left is Hiku, the adopted daughter of Zabuza Momochi, who we rented on our mission. She has decided to become a shinobi of Konoha, Naruto said. This caused both councils to talk amongst themselves in their respective groups. We have the civilian council want your 2 escorts to be transferred to the Uchiha and the girl be placed the CRA Act, a Haruno woman said. The civilian council member was about to receive a retort from an angry Naruto until Django beat him to it. That impudent runt is not strong enough for us to follow him. We follow Naruto-sama's orders and Naruto-sama's orders alone, Django said while Tiraran nodded in agreement. And I'm not going to be under the CRA to be married off to some men I don't even like, Hiku said. She received glares from some in the civilian council as a result. You will do as we say or you can find yourself out of this village, said a large civilian councilman. Before he say anything else, however, Shikaku Nara, one of the shinobi in the room, decided to get involved in the conversation. Hold on a minute, since when have you of the civilian council been allowed to interfere in shinobi affairs? This girl is a shinobi and the other 2 are not from Konoha, so you have no business deciding any their fates, the Nara clansman said. He received voices of agreement from his fellow shinobi. Tensions between the 2 councils, which had gotten worse over time since the end of the last war, almost came to a head until Naruto, who had had enough of the civilian council and their hatred of him, decided his presence known again. I think it's time to reveal my heritage, old man, Naruto. The old cage nodded in agreement. I believe you're right, Naruto, Sarutobi said, which confused most the members of both councils as well as Sakura, Sasuke, and Hiku. Hokage-sama, what does he mean by his heritage? Kaharu asked as the Hokage took another puff of his pipe. As you all know, Minato and Kushina were married and were due to have a child around the time of the Kyuubi's attack. Officially, the report stated that their child died during the Kyuubi's rampage. That, however, was a lie. Their child, a son, did survive, Sarutobi explained. The eyes from members of both councils widened at the realization of what this meant. No, then that means that Naruto's Homura said before Naruto finished his sentence. A Namikaze and an Uzumaki, in other words, the last of 2 powerful clans. The old man already showed me the Namikaze estate and I also understand that I fall under the CRA to resurrect both of my clans, Naruto said. He flashed a smirk upon seeing the civilian council members sweating a little. Even if you are the last of those 2 clans, you will still obey our orders and you will surrender your fracciones to the Uchiha now, a civilian council member said. For his defiance the man was kicked into the wall by Naruto. I will not relieve my fracciones to that spoiled punk. And as for Hiku, she will now be under the protection of the Namikaze and the Uzumaki clan. Now, if you don't mind, I'm going to move into my parents' estate, Naruto said as Hiku and his fracciones left. Sasuke was fuming at Naruto and would have attacked him if he wasn't stopped by Kakashi. That was Sasuke's sake, however, since Naruto probably would have crushed him. Hokage-sama, you must restrain the boy. He letting his power go to his head, Kaharu said only for Sarutobi to scowl at her. Like you and the rest of the civilian council didn't treating the boy so harshly? Naruto has power already and he doesn't abuse it like you, so I trust him. I would actually place my trust in him sooner than I would in you civilian. Now unless you have any more issues to discuss, this meeting is adjourned, Sarutobi said. Every member of the civilian council was now angry at having been defied by a kid, the Kyuubi brat no less, and having to let him get away with it. The shinobi council members, on the hand, smirked at seeing the reactions of their civilian colleagues. After having to deal with a civilian council that had been gaining more and more power over the years, they were glad to see that someone was strong enough to keep them in check. The fact that it was Naruto, whose treatment by the civilian council was a known fact, made this moment all the more sweeter for the shinobi. Namikaze estate, meanwhile, while Naruto, Hiku, Django, and Tiraran headed to the estate, the latter 3 left in awe of the immense size of the place. Django was calmly walking around admiring the craftsmanship of the estate while Tiraran was just running around saying it was awesome. Naruto found the master bedroom and set his stuff down. Hiku found a room close to his and began unpacking. Once everyone was set up, Naruto got some food and cooked a meal for his house guest. Django and Tiraran had now turned in for the night, leaving Naruto and Hiku alone. That was really good, Naruto, Hiku said as she put her dishes in the sink to be washed. Thanks, Hiku. It's been a while since I've cooked, so I'm glad I haven't lost my touch, Naruto said as he washed the plates. I should be the one thanking you, Hiku said as Naruto stopped washing and looked at her. For what, Hiku? Naruto asked, though he knew what she was going to say. For letting me come to this village and having a home. When Zabuza died, I thought I was going to have to wander around the world alone for the rest of my life. You decided to let me come with you, however, and you were willing stuck up for me in front of your council. I just feel really indebted to you, Hiku said as she blushed. It's just me being me. I couldn't just leave you out there alone and not knowing what you were going to do next, Naruto said before was then hugged by Hiku. Still, thank you for everything, Hiku said. She then kissed his cheek before letting go of him and heading to bed. Good night, Hiku said. Good night, Naruto said, rubbing his cheek and smiling as things were now looking up for him. The streets of Konoha. A week later, Naruto and the rest of Team 7 had been informed that they would be taking part in this year's Chunin exams. Naruto and Ko were excited to have an opportunity to improve their standing in the shinobi ranks. Naruto had been training with his fracciones to keep his skills sharp. Today, though, he was walking with Hiku to show her around the village. After about an hour of walking, Naruto heard the voice of a kid and, based on what was being said, it sounded as if there was a scuffle going on. Naruto and Hiku looked around the corner to see a little boy, whom Naruto recognized as Konohamaru, being held up by a guy wearing a black outfit with a black cat hat, purple face paint, and a bandage item secured on his back. Next to him was a blonde girl with our pigtails. She wore simple white outfit with a red sash and fishnet undershirt. On her back was a folded fan that was as tall as, if not taller than, the girl herself. Let me go, you makeup wearing freak, Konohamaru said. The guy holding him got even angrier after hearing that comment. I'll teach you some manners, kid, the guy said as he clutched Konohamaru even harder. Cut it out, Kankuro. We need to meet up with Gaara, the blonde said as she tried to stop him. Quiet, Tamari. This kid needs to learn to respect his betters, Kankuro said as he pulled his hand back to punch Konohamaru. But, as he threw his punch, he was shocked by it being caught by Naruto, who then locked eyes with the surprised Kankuro. Maybe you should pick on someone your own size, coward, Naruto said as he tightened his grip on Kankuro's hand. Kankuro was in so much pain that he was forced to release Konohamaru. When he did, Naruto tossed him back with ease. Enraged, Kankuro pulled his baggage off of his back. You can't use that here, Kankuro. What if Gaara finds out? Tamari asked, she obviously afraid of this Gaara character from what Naruto could tell. He won't know about this. Besides, I can't really back down from this guy, Kankuro said before he saw Naruto smirk. Bring out your little puppet, then. I could use it for firewood when I'm done beating you, Naruto said to Kankuro. He then took a moment to enjoy Kankuro's terrified expression as he unsheathed his Zanpakutō. How the hell does know about Crow? Kankuro thought to himself as he considered his options. Kankuro, what do you think you're doing? A figure said. This made Kankuro stop dead in his tracks. Naruto turned to see a boy hanging upside down from a nearby tree. The boy had red hair, a brown outfit, and a gourd that was on his back. On his forehead he had the word, love, written in kanji. Gaara, I was just, Kankuro said before he was cut off by Gaara. Shut up before I kill you, Gaara said. He then turned his attention to Naruto. I take it you guys are from the Sand Village. Are you here for the Chunin exams? Naruto said. Gaara just nodded his head. You seem strong. What is your name? Gaara asked as Tamari and Kankuro stood next to him. I am Naruto Uzumaki. And who might I ask is wanting to know? Naruto asked as Hiku now walked up next to him. I am Gaara. This is my brother Kankuro and my sister Tamari. I look forward to fighting you in the exams, Gaara said as he saw Naruto nod at him. Likewise, Naruto said before Gaara and his siblings turned and left. Konohamaru went up to Naruto once the three Suna shinobi left. Thanks for the save, boss, Konohamaru said while grinning at Naruto. No problem, Naruto said as he smiled back. Naruto had met Konohamaru when he was training sometime before he went to the Land of Waves. Konohamaru wanted to fight him to prove he was strong enough to become Hokage. The kid failed, but Naruto encouraged him to keep training and that he would become a great shinobi if he did. Konohamaru was excited to hear those words and promised to train hard alongside his teammates Udon and Moegi. Naruto has been like a big brother to him ever since. "Hey boss, who's the pretty girl next to you?" Konohamaru asked, which caused Haku to blush a little. "Her name is Haku. She came to Konoha a week ago and was just made a chunin due to her skill," Naruto said. Haku bowed politely. The younger ones did the same as a sign of respect. "So, is she your girlfriend?" Konohamaru said. He flashed a sleazy smile when Naruto and Haku blushed. "We haven't known each other that long, kid," Naruto said as he rubbed the back of his head. "Gotcha. Well, I gotta meet Ebisu-sensei for some training now, so I'll see y'all later, boss," Konohamaru said as he ran off. "Shall we continue the tour?" Naruto asked. Haku nodded and the two spent the rest of the day walking around the village. The next day, Naruto and his teammates were walking through the corridors of a building to head to where the first part of the chunin exams. They saw a group of people standing outside the door, which was where the exam was supposedly going to take place. Naruto noticed that there was a genjutsu surrounding the door number to keep participants from knowing the first part of the exam was really going to take place. He quickly covered his teammates' mouths and let them away to keep them from blurting out there was a genjutsu, which would help reduce the amount of competition they would have to face. Unfortunately, another team was able to notice Team 7's actions and followed them. That team consisted of a boy with very thick eyebrows wearing a green jumpsuit with orange leg warmers, a girl with a pink outfit who had her hair held up in two buns, and a boy with long brown hair and the featureless white eyes of the Hyuga clan. Naruto's group started to make its way across another hall when they were stopped by a voice. "Hold it right there. How did you know it was an illusion?" the voice from the group that was following them said. It was obvious that there was a genjutsu around the door and, by the way, isn't it kind of rude to ask questions without knowing someone's name first? Naruto said as the group looked at him. "I am Neji Hyuga and there are my teammates, Rock Lee and Tenten. We are competing in this year's chunin exams as well," Neji said as he locked eyes with Naruto. "I see. Then I'll see you three in the exams," Naruto said before he and his team turned to walk away, leaving Neji to look on at Naruto with a great deal of interest. Naruto and his team made their way to a waiting area full of ninja who were also partaking in the chunin exams. "Wow, the competition looks tough for this thing," Sakura said as she noted the large number of shinobi present. "Well, now the whole group's here," a voice said. Team 7, having recognized the voice, turned to the source of the voice. It was none other than Kiba who entered the room along with Team 8, which consisted of Kiba himself, Hinata and Shino, as well as Team 10. Ino, who was part of the latter team, ran up to Sasuke and hugged him just to annoy Sakura. While the two kunoichi got into a little argument, Naruto noticed that Hinata was there standing next to Shino. "Hey Hinata-chan, how have you been?" Naruto asked. Hinata blushed upon realizing that he had noticed her. "I am fine, Naruto-kun. How has your team been doing?" Hinata said as she tried not to fidget with her fingers. It's fine. Though I wish I could have someone I could actually get along with like you, Hinata-chan," Naruto said. The young Uzumaki tried to resist laughing when Hinata blushed further as a result of Naruto's comment. "Thank you for the comment, Naruto-kun," Hinata said as she was now unable to stop fidgeting with her fingers. "Hey Hinata, I hope this isn't too forward, but I was wondering if you'd like to go out with me when this thing is over?" Naruto asked, which caused the girl's eyes widened in shock. "Go on a date with Naruto-kun?" Hinata thought as she opened her mouth to respond, but instead felt herself going faint before she did so. "Hinata," Naruto said as he caught her before she hit the ground. "This situation is such a drag," Shikamaru said while Choji, who stood alongside his longtime friend, looked on at Naruto and Hinata. "You guys might want to stop drawing attention to yourselves. Some of these guys can get a bit unhinged by such outbursts," a figure that appeared before the 9 genin said. The figure was a boy a little older than they. He wore glasses, a purple shirt, and a Konoha headband. "And who might you be?" Shino asked, having decided to make himself known in the group. "My name is Kabuto Yakushi, and you'd be wise to take my advice on this," Kabuto said as he joined in the group. "I take it you're speaking from experience?" Naruto asked before Kabuto rubbed the back of his head. "Yeah, this is actually my 6th time taking the exam," Kabuto said, shocking everyone except Naruto and Sasuke with his words. "Wow, you must really suck at this to have failed that many times," Sasuke said while he flashed a smirk at Kabuto. "Yay, but I've managed to scrounge enough data for these," Kabuto said while he pulled out a deck of cards. "What are those?" Shikamaru asked as he eyed the cards in Kabuto's hand. These are ninja info cards. They can give you the stats on anybody who's a village shinobi. These particular cards were updated a few days ago, so the info on them should have everything I might need to know. Got anybody in mind that you would like to know about? Kabuto asked as he shuffled his deck. I do, Neji said as he entered the room with his team. I want to know about Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto noticed that Hinata had locked eyes with Neji for a moment. He was surprised by the sudden change in Hinata's mood. It almost appeared as though there was some bad blood between her and the other Hyuga. Naruto Uzumaki, Kabuto said before pulling out a card. Genin, left for 7 years to train with an unidentified mentor, came back extremely powerful. Has only been on D and C rank missions, but on a C rank mission encountered Zabuza Momochi and actually killed the swordsman. At that, everyone who was not on Team 7 was wide-eyed at this news. Naruto took on an A- ranked criminal who was a member of the 7 Swordsmen of Mist, the infamous demon of the hidden mist no less, and won. Their shock was directed elsewhere, however, when a huge plume of smoke emerged. Out of the smoke appeared a tall man wearing all black who also had a scarred chin. All maggots, listen up. My name is Ibiki, and I am your proctor for the first part of the Chunin exams, Ibiki said as everyone now prepared themselves for the exams. Team 7 passed the first part of the Chunin exams. The instructor, Ibiki, explained that it was a simple test and that any cheating would be met with immediate expulsion. Naruto answered the questions well since he had found tons of scrolls at the Namikaze estate. This would take Ibiki by surprise later on when he read the Uzumaki's test. After everyone was done with the first 9 questions and ready for the final question, Ibiki explained that they could try to answer the final question, but if they got it wrong they immediately failed the test, and, if that wasn't bad enough, they could never take the test again. If, however, they chose not to answer it, they could leave and try again next time. When no one stood up, Ibiki told them that they had all passed, shocking everyone in the room. Ibiki explained that a ninja has to take risks in order to complete a mission, further proving it by showing the scars on his head and by the fact that he had 2 Chunin who knew the answers posed as participants, which would have allowed the genin to cheat assuming they could avoid getting caught. The moment Ibiki finished his explanation, one of the window broke as a figure broke in and dropped a banner down. A woman with purple hair that looked like a pineapple and brown pupil-less eyes who wore a tan trench coat with a fishnet shirt that went down to her thighs along with an orange short skirt. All right, you runts. My name is Enko Mitarashi and I'm the proctor for the second part of the Chunin exams, Enko said as she stuck a pose in front of the group of genin. Just when I thought that the people in this village couldn't get any weirder, Naruto thought to himself while the whole room kept quiet. You're early again, Enko, Ibiki said, causing a sweat drop to emerge on Enko's face. Shut up, Ibiki. Anyways, everyone follow me to the second part of the exam, Enko said as she led the group out of the building, while noting the unusually large number of remaining genin. They walked until they got to a large forest with a fence going around the entire area. To most of the genin, the forest appeared very intimidating. Naruto, however, simply smirked at the sight of the immense forest. He knew nothing inside this place would be a challenge, not after being in the harsh terrain of the hellhole that was called Hueco Mundo. He did have teammates that he had to take care of. That was only a minor setback that could be easily overcome in this part of the exam. He was brought out of thoughts when Enko began to speak to the large group. Alright kids, this is the 44th training ground, but most have come to know it as the Forest of Death. In this part of the exam you and your team will be given a heaven or earth scroll. Your job is to find another team with a different scroll and take it from them. Once you have both, you must make your way to the tower located in the center of the forest. Oh, and until you reach the tower with both scrolls you cannot open the scrolls, Enko said as most genin looked at the forest that had an ominous feeling emanating about it. Sounds like fun, Naruto said, which got him some looks from the most of the other participants. It's not as easy as it seems. You'll be going against your fellow ninja and there are also nasty creatures in the forest, all to keep you from succeeding, Enko said with a toothy grin on her face. Like I said, sounds like fun, Naruto said, leaving most of the competitors with the impression that he was insane. Enko smirked as she disappeared from sight only to reappear behind Naruto, kunai knife pressed against his neck. To the surprise of the other genin, Naruto wasn't fazed in the least by this threatening move. Guys like you are usually the first to die. I don't care if you were the one to take down Zabuza Momochi. If you get cocky and here you'll meet your end, Enko said. Naruto simply smiled at her as if nothing had happened. I don't die so easily, and this place is a picnic compared to the area where I stayed for 7 years. So bring on your so-called forest of death, Naruto said. This got some chuckling out of Enko. I like you, kid. You're not afraid to stand your ground in front of an authority figure, and you've also got a strong feel about you. Hope you make it through this part, Enko said as she put her kunai away. I'll see you on the other side, then, Naruto said as Enko went back to front of the group. Okay, come forward to get a scroll for your team. After that, report to your assigned gate and wait for the starting signal, Enko said as the group of genin got in line for a scroll. Naruto got an earth scroll, which meant that he needed a heaven scroll to pass this part of the with his team. Team 7 then took their positons at their appropriate gate. When the horn sounded to start the second part of the exam, Team 7 ran into the forest to gain some ground. After running for a while, they decided to stop and formulate a plan of how to get the other scroll needed. Okay, we need to locate a team with a scroll opposite of ours. The sooner we do that, the sooner we can get to the tower, Naruto said, having planned out a method of search and attack. Why don't you just leave the fighting to me and we'll be done in no time, loser, Sasuke said. Naruto rubbed his temples at this comment. He had had enough of this nonsense from Sasuke, which had gotten worse since that little confrontation he had with the council a week earlier, and decided that he wouldn't stand for Sasuke's attitude anymore. That's it, we're settling this now, Sasuke. You stay here, Sakura, and try to keep yourself hidden, Naruto said as he seized Sasuke by the shirt and flash stepped away. Naruto brought Sasuke to an empty and quiet part of the forest. He didn't want any interruptions during this talk. What was that for, loser? Sasuke asked. Naruto simply looked at him with an unemotional expression before he said anything. Sasuke, I know you. Seeking revenge against your brother, and do I believe he should face justice? But I want to ask you one simple question, Naruto said as Sasuke glared at him. And what might that be? Sasuke asked while he reassured himself that nothing Naruto could say would deter him from his goal. He had no idea of just how wrong he was. What exactly do you plan to do with your life after you defeat Itachi? Naruto asked. Sasuke opened his mouth to retort, but quickly made a quizzical face. He hadn't thought about it at all, not in the slightest. Not once since the massacre of his clan did he consider what he would do after he killed Itachi. That was his motivation in life, his reason to get stronger, and yet now that he thought about it more closely, realized that it hadn't gotten much of anything. He didn't even have a Sharingan, the most prized jutsu of his clan, to show for his efforts. Naruto, on the other hand, who was a dead last, who was supposed to be beneath him and who had no real desire for revenge, had probably become the most powerful ninja in the entire Leaf Village, and maybe even an entire shinobi world from what Sasuke had witnessed. Naruto, who read Sasuke's thought to the letter, decided to clarify his point. My point exactly. You're so focused on revenge you don't stop to think about where you'll be when it's over. I'm not telling you to stop your search, but don't make it the center of your world, either. If you'll only end up living a lonely existence in the end, if your desire for revenge doesn't consume you first, said Naruto. What do you mean by consume? Sasuke asked. Naruto sighed at this. Do you remember about when I told you about those hollows that lived in Hueco Mundo? Naruto asked. Sasuke nodded in response. There was no way that either he or the rest of Team 7 could forget about the creatures that Naruto was referring to since, shortly before the mission to the Land of Waves, Naruto, without revealing how he did it, had one of those so-called hollows appear before them. Though Naruto had the creature, which was a run-of-the-mill hollow, restrained the entire time and eventually killed it after he finished his little story, the incident had been one of the most frightening experiences that the rest of Team 7 had been through. To put it in a way you might understand, revenge is like a hollow. You see, Sasuke, a hollow gains power by consuming other beings and, in their quest for more power, they attack anyone they deem a threat, even if those threats were people who were the one closest to them. And they'll keep consuming and consuming more beings until there is no one left to consume more. As is always the case, someone stronger, be it a hollow or something else, ends up killing them, Naruto said. After he made sure that Sasuke was still listening to him before he finished his little analogy. It's the same thing with revenge. You think that it'll all end once you kill your prey, but it doesn't. What happens instead is that you then find out who that person might have been close with. You will then probably decide to go after them only to then go after those who are associated with the people you've just killed. This cycle, which is almost impossible for the Avenger to break out of, will just keep repeating itself until you're left with no one else to gain any vengeance against, or more than likely, someone or something manages to stop you somewhere along the way. That's what revenge is, and that is what the path you're taking in life right now will leave you with, Naruto said. Naruto, having finished his explanation, then grabbed Sasuke's shoulder before he stepped back to where he had left Sakura. When the two genin got there, however, they found Sakura lying completely motionless with her eyes wide and full of terror. Naruto and Sasuke carefully made their way to her. "What's wrong with her?" Sasuke asked as waved his hand in her face, which was ineffective since she didn't blink once. "She's in a state of total shock. I bet you had something to do with it, didn't you?" Naruto said as he turned to face a woman wearing a green outfit with black pants and a Kusagakure headband. "The poor thing was overpowered by my killing intent. But now that you two have arrived, things might be a little bit more interesting," the woman said as she licked her lips at the challenge awaiting her. "Go take care of Sakura. I'll take care of this freak myself, Sasuke," Naruto ordered. Sasuke was about to protest this until Naruto forced him to comply by releasing his Ryotsu. Naruto turned to face his opponent as soon as his teammates were a safe distance away. "You sure are confident, aren't you?" the woman said while she was still smiling at Naruto. "You're no ordinary shinobi. I can feel the evil chakra just pouring out of you. So why don't you drop the charade and reveal your true self?" Naruto said as he could sense this person's chakra was immense compared to that of the opponent he has faced since becoming a shinobi. "You're a clever boy. Not many can see through my disguises," the woman said as she pulled off her skin to reveal a pale face with snake eyes. "My name is Orochimaru," the assailant said in a sickly male voice. "Orochimaru, one of the 3 legendary Sannin. It's gonna be a real honor to kill you," Naruto said. The Uzumaki revealed a small grin to the Sannin while he unsheathed his Zanpakutō. "Kukuku, so sure of ourselves, are we? Very well then, but know that I am far more skilled than anyone you have faced before." Naruto Uzumaki, Orochimaru said before he pulled Kusanagi out of his throat. "I sure hope so, traitor, since finding a good opponent to fight against has been impossible since I came back to Konoha," Naruto replied. Naruto rushed Orochimaru, causing their swords to lock up as they tried to overpower each other. In a flash, they were moved to a large tree branch as multiple sword strikes were being made every second. Naruto and Orochimaru's arms were a blur of swift movements and sparks. Naruto, after a few minutes, then managed to outmaneuver Orochimaru and impale him in the stomach, only for to see that the Sannin had turned into mud. Naruto narrowed his eyes as he sensed a presence from behind and instinctively threw a head kick to the approaching Sannin. Orochimaru barely ducked under the head kick, and then proceeded to impale Naruto's head. The blonde moved his head out of the way of the blade and grabbed Orochimaru's arm, which he then used to fling him through some trees. Naruto then stepped toward his foe only for Orochimaru to meet him with his fingertips glowing with purple flames. "5 elements seal," Orochimaru said as he rammed his fingers into Naruto's gut. "There, now you won't be getting any more help from the Kyuubi." Naruto remained still on the tree branch as Orochimaru kept his fingers on Naruto's gut. Then, to Orochimaru's confusion, he heard slight chuckling coming from Naruto, which then turned into a full-blown laugh. "What the hell is so funny?" Orochimaru asked as he was irritated that this little kid was laughing at him. "Sorry to disappoint you, you snake. But the Kyuubi isn't exactly sealed in me anymore, though he's kept close," Naruto said before he took a moment to enjoy the look of terror that appeared on the snake Sannin's face. That terror only grew when he saw the seal dissipate before his very eyes. "What?" Orochimaru said as he did not understand how this brat had so much power without the Kyuubi. "I'm done playing with you, but since I've already revealed a little secret, I might as well show you what I mean." "Say hi, Kyuubi," Naruto said as he held up his blade, which turned red and sent out an energy shockwave that sent Orochimaru flying. Rocker 1600 note: I am unsure if this was JMAC 615's intention, but I don't intend to have "say hi, Kyuubi" as the release command for Naruto's Zanpakutō. By the time he hit a tree, Orochimaru was kneed in the gut and sent to the ground. Orochimaru recomposed himself in time to block Naruto's Zanpakutō, but was getting severely overpowered. Naruto proceeded to grab Kusanagi with his bare hands and flung it out of Orochimaru's hand. Naruto proceeded to impale him in the chest. Orochimaru, however, turned into a log and disappeared. This is more than I had expected from this kid. I need to do what I came here to do and leave. I'll deal with the Jinchuriki later. Time to make the Uchiha come to me, Orochimaru said. He proceeded with caution so as to not be discovered. Elsewhere in the forest, Sasuke was staying under a tree, watching over his pink-haired teammate who had gone unconscious after she was snapped out of the shock. He was also thinking about what Naruto had said to him. He saw how strong Naruto was, and it seemed that this strength, along with his drive, was due to his desire to protect his friends. He wondered if his quest for revenge was actually holding him back rather than helping him move forward. Sasuke was still questioning the path he had taken in life. He suddenly felt a strong pain in his head that seemingly came from out of nowhere. He put his right hand on his forehead as the pain grew with every second until he was enveloped in a dark void. After a few minutes he opened his eyes, which he had closed during the ordeal. He found himself reliving the scene that had haunted him for 5 years, the massacre of his clan at the hands of brother Itachi. This time, however, Sasuke felt that something was wrong. As he saw his brother finish his speech, he noticed that the younger version of himself got up and, to his complete shock, awakened the Sharingan. The younger Sasuke then pursued Itachi. I know this isn't what happened that night, so why does this feel so familiar, as if it had occurred? A shocked Sasuke thought to himself as his younger self was defeated by Itachi. Current, 12/13 of a year. Old Sasuke then watched in disbelief as his brother began crying while he was picking up his forehead protector, which little 7/8 of a year old Sasuke had knocked off. Itachi then incapacitated little Sasuke, but not before he using the Tsukuyomi on him. Current Sasuke fell unconscious soon after. After a few seconds, Sasuke woke up to find himself back in the forest of death with a still unconscious Sakura in front of him. As he continued watching over Sakura, he tried to make sense of what he had witnessed. Why would Itachi want me to forget those last moments? Something is definitely wrong. Even if he really wants me to kill him, that doesn't explain why he would rid me of those memories. Sasuke thought to himself as he considered the possible meaning of his visions. Does this mean my desire for revenge is misguided? Does this mean that Naruto was right? And does that there really was more to what happened that night? Sasuke thought to himself. His musings were cut short, however, when Orochimaru appeared in front of him. Sasuke stood up to face this potential threat. Finally, I will soon have my hands on the Sharingan, Orochimaru said as Sasuke took a defensive stance. I may have not even awakened my Sharingan, but I won't let you take me until I have found a path to follow, Sasuke said, even though he now unsure of the first part of that statement. Sasuke had decided, at the very least, to uncover the full truth of what had happened that fateful night before he would decide on the path he would walk. The fact that Sasuke was unable to activate the fabled dojutsu did little to deter Orochimaru. Pity, but allow me to give you a gift that will make you come to me in time, an ecstatic Orochimaru said before his neck stretched out and lunged at Sasuke. Before he could even get to Sasuke, however, Orochimaru's neck was seized by a hand belonging to one Naruto Uzumaki. Orochimaru tried to wiggle himself free of the blonde's grasp, forcing Naruto to squeeze his neck even harder to make sure he couldn't get away. Finally, without saying a word, Naruto took out his Zanpakutō and severed Orochimaru's head from his neck. The snake body dropped to the ground and didn't turn into a substitution, signifying the quick end of the infamous shinobi. You all right? Naruto asked as he sheathed his Zanpakutō. Yeah, and I think Sakura is coming too, Sasuke said as Sakura began to stir awake only to shoot up in a split second. What happened? Where that woman from before? Sakura asked, looked around for her attacker. She was really Orochimaru, one of the 3 legendary Sannin of Konoha. I had read a while ago that he turned traitor, though I doubt he's going to do anything to harm the village anytime soon, Naruto said as began searching Orochimaru's body. Wow, that's pretty crazy. What was he after? Asked Sakura, as she thought, understandably, that it was strange that such a power shinobi would waste time with a Chunin exam attacking Genin. He was after me, and apparently thought he could get my Sharingan even though I haven't developed yet, said Sasuke, as he looked over at Naruto, hoping to hide the changes occurring within himself. Naruto, meanwhile, found 4 scrolls that he placed next to him before he continued his search. His teammates took a look at those scrolls and realized that none of those was the one that they needed to pass the exam. Damn, he doesn't have the scroll on him. Looks like we're not home free yet, Naruto said. He thought that Orochimaru might have had the scroll they needed to pass since he disguised himself as a participant. We'll still have plenty of to find a team with the right scroll, Sasuke said, earning a nod and a smirk from the Uzumaki. You're right about that, Sasuke. But how about the 3 of you hiding in the bushes over there come out and save us the trouble? Naruto asked. Sasuke and Sakura turned to see 3 Auto Shinobi appear out of the bush behind them. One was completely covered in bandages and looked like a mummy. He wore an overcoat and spotted jeans, black sandals, and a weird gauntlet on both hands. The next guy had spiky hair, a scarf around his neck, yellow shirt, and same pants as his teammate as well as a face filled with rage. The third member of the group was a female that had long black hair, a scarf around her neck, green vest and same pants as her teammates. You killed our master and you think we'll just let you have our scroll? Zaku asked. He was beyond angry over his master's death. You're more than welcome to join him if you want, but we are leaving here with your scroll if it's the one we need, Naruto said as Sakura and Sasuke got prepared to back him up. Zaku, he's way too powerful. Let's just cut our losses and hand over our scroll, Dosu said before retrieving the scroll out of his pocket and laying it on the ground. Naruto smirked at seeing that it was the heaven scroll that they needed. Excellent. Oh, and one more thing. Tell the rest of Orochimaru's spies to pack up and get out of here if they value their lives, Naruto said before the Auto trio left in a hurry. I think we should now be making our way to the tower before any other team gets wise to us, Sasuke said. Naruto, while he agreed with the Uchiha for once, had one last bit of business to take care of. First things first, Sasuke, Naruto said as he pointed towards Orochimaru's now lifeless body. We need to dispose of most of those remains, Naruto stated as he realized that this moment presented an opportunity he had been waiting for. THSTA all for now. If you enjoy then please like, share and do comments.